Welcome to Paranormal Central, broadcasting live from Central California with your hosts Jeffrey Gonzalez and Alan Thomas. Broadcasting video worldwide at ParanormalCentral.net and broadcasting audio on the Dark Matter Network at ArtBell.com. Are you ready to witness something you cannot explain?
I'm looking for you. You're looking for me. We have to decide what it will be. Can it be true? Can I believe the unexplained? Look into the sky. You realize you're not alone. Open your eyes. You can find the trails that control.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Gonzalez. I am the host of Paranormal Central. Welcome, wherever you may be, broadcasting live from the bottom left-hand corner of the Nevada Triangle in a city called Fresno. Again, my name is Jeffrey Gonzalez. I am your host for the show, and our co-host obviously is not here today, and we have a special guest, and we'll be talking to him in a little bit. Let's give everybody if this is your first time, welcome. I've been doing this now going on 8 years, broadcasting on this show, and been investigating the paranormal for 13 years. I am the founder of a group called the Sanger Paranormal Society, and got a lot of great stuff that we found, and I decided that one day I'd show it to you guys, and this is the avenue that we're going to do it here. So we are broadcasting live HD video on live stream right now. If you don't want to watch us, you can always go to the Dark Matter Network at artbell.com and listen to us there via audio. We are sending them a Skype audio, which is very killer audio. So what a lot of people do is either they turn down the volume on live stream and listen to us on the artbell.com website, and that way you can get the best of both worlds. We are going to be showing some photographs tonight. We have Danny Valdrama, a Squatch reporter, and what we do is we show you pictures here, and you can also watch or see the pictures at artval.com on the homepage, and then we can go ahead and talk about them. You guys can look at the pictures there. So we're going to go ahead and get a hold of Danny and get right into the Squatch report. We have sitting here Al. Al is from Ohio. What the heck is Al from Ohio doing in California? Well, he is sort of kind of like married to a cousin of mine. No, I take that back. His son is married to a cousin of mine. And so let's go ahead and tell everybody really quick before we get Danny on. Introduce yourself.
All right, I'm Al Luna, and actually I'm from the Toledo, Ohio area. And my wife and I are founders of a paranormal group in that area.
Well, look at that. Isn't that a coincidence?
Yes, indeed. I came out to visit my kids and somehow fell into this great situation.
Right on.
Glad to meet you, Jim.
Right on, Al. Same here. During our Easter festivities last week, they said you would be in town, and I said, well, you know what? Bring them on down. It's nice to tell people about other paranormal groups around the United States because they listen to us worldwide, and we have fans all over the place. And I get called on my 24-hour hotline from everywhere, from East Coast, just everywhere. And I try to help them as much as I can over the phone. But if I know other paranormal groups on the East Coast or in the Midwest or whatever, I can just turn them on to you guys. You know?
That'd be great.
And that's what the whole idea is, getting you in here so we can talk about it. So let's go ahead and get Danny and talk about some Bigfoot stuff. Danny, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So, what do you mean? Yeah, I'm here. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Alan didn't make it back?
No, I don't think he wasn't going to make it back. For all those who don't know, Alan is at a baseball game. His granddaughter, I believe, is leaving out of state tomorrow, and this is probably going to be the last time they see each other for a long time, I think. So she wants some tickets to the Grizzly game, and that's where they are right now. So he will be back with us next week, and we'll have Alan in the studio. So today,
Emerald made it back.
Emerald is here. Emerald, say hi.
Yeah, hi
I forgot,
guys.
Emerald.
Yeah,
Oh my
you just
God.
leave me in the freaking corner.
shoot.
That's fine. I see how it is, Jeff. You don't pay me
Took her
anyway.
month off.
Yeah, you jealous, Danny? I got a month off.
Mine's coming up.
What? Wait a minute. You just had vacation. What are you talking about? Oh my gosh. No. Okay. All right. Yeah, Emerald, welcome back. And a lot of
you.
people have been asking for you. I'm serious. So you better get your ASS in here now from now on every weekend.
All right. No days off.
There was nobody to fight with.
No kidding. So
Oh, that's what they're missing.
yeah, they gotta let me have it sometimes. So, all right. So we got Danny on the line here. We're gonna go ahead and talk some Bigfoot. Danny, for those who don't know, Danny is our Squatch reporter. He is into the big hairy man, and I think he basically knows what is going on around the world with reports and latest information. So he sent me over some photographs. If you are at the Dark Matter Network at artbell.com, you can go to their homepage and they'll be labeled Paranormal Central and the Squatch report for today's date. So let's go ahead and head over to the photographs that he sent me. And we're going to go ahead and put up Mr. Harry and the Hendersons, right?
Yeah.
I know him anyway.
I had to really stay on my toes this week because, last week because of April Fools. So there's a lot of stories out there that weren't true.
Ah, right.
But
And
this one was actually true.
Really? Okay, so I got the picture up with Mr. Harry on, so go for it, dude.
All right, this is a Bigfoot made Rolling Stone magazine, and that's where this story is from. It's from March 20th. There's a group out there called Faith No More, and there's
Yeah.
keyboardist Roddy Bottom, and he wrote an opera, and it's a Sasquatch love story. It's only a one-act opera, and it was previewed in Brooklyn, and it was last week. It was for 2 days. It's called Sasquatch the Opera, and it tells the story of how a daughter of a family who offers Bigfoot tours in their town runs away with a real Bigfoot.
Okay.
Part folklore, part love story, and the opera follows the demise of the family and the taboo love affair that blossoms in its aftermath. And Bottom says it's not a traditional opera. It's more like a little operetta. And he moved from L.A. to New York specifically to get into the opera. So
That's interesting.
it's only a 3-scene opera, but he's going to elaborate on it and build it into a bigger production. This is just a starting point, it's launching point. So
Okay.
pretty weird.
Yeah, very weird. We might have to get the keyboardist on to talk about that. It's probably going to be over by the time, but hey, I'd like to
And
talk
they
to him.
asked him why Bigfoot, and he says it's his favorite character.
Oh, there you go.
He's a gentle giant, misunderstood monster. He turns out to be very sensitive and highly intelligent.
Bull crap on the sensitive.
Yeah.
More
What
like,
do you think?
yeah, exactly. We'll take him up with us one of these days, and we'll teach him. All right, so right on.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was no reviews. It was on April 1st and 2nd. I couldn't find any reviews on it to see how it went, but it was in Brooklyn. So, and also his band, Faith No More, is releasing its first album in 18 years.
Wow.
It's coming out May 19th, and then they're going to start a tour.
Sweet. Well, I remember them in the 90s.
I recognize the name.
I
Couldn't tell you what they sing.
oh God, I could start humming it to you right now, but I don't think my fans want to do that because they'll leave.
No.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
All right. The next one is the binoculars.
Binoculars.
Yeah.
See, I didn't
have
get I didn't get that up here. You didn't send me that one.
Yeah.
No, sorry, bud. It goes from Harry to big dude, the guy, a white dude.
Yeah. That's the keyboard player.
Oh.
And then the next picture should be binoculars.
See, no, it goes straight. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. You're
Jeff's
right.
killing us.
There you go. Okay, go for it.
This was one of those April Fool's jokes from Vortex Optics from their website, and it's only this one picture. It's they're advertising their new Bigfoot binos for 2015, and you can see the hairy grips there, fur on them, and when you look through them, it has hash marks so you can tell the size and the width of what you're looking at, and it adjusts. So when you adjust the binoculars, no matter what depth you're looking at.
How did I miss this one?
The sizes. See that?
Yeah, how did I miss it though? I didn't see this at all. Wow. Okay.
There was just so much stuff out there this past couple of weeks.
That
was
is
crazy.
funny. Now, were they selling this, or it was just a joke?
It's just a hoax.
Right.
It's an April Fool's joke.
I was going to
'Cause
say,
I did look for them, and it's not part of their
That looks
lineup
pretty
on
real,
their
yeah.
website.
do you have to wash those often to make sure no smell comes through? I mean,
That'll-
I did ask their website if the fur sheds, because you can get your hands full of fur
No
when you
kidding.
take them off of there.
Okay, that's funny.
And I think they're onto something there, though. It's a good idea.
You know what?
Maybe they might actually make these.
You know what, the height, and you know, military probably already has that, but you know, we're talking a lot of money. So you know what would work also too is the golfers use for like measuring
Those
distance.
distance finders.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I gotta
I
get
told,
one
them
of those.
I told them on their website that they needed to add a camera or video and maybe a thermal imager connection on there too. So these would be perfect.
Yeah, without the fur.
Maybe their wheels are spinning now.
There you go.
There's enough people on there commenting that hey, I'd buy a pair. So maybe they'll actually do it.
That's GoFundMe.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about that right now. So okay. All right, next one.
The next one is the crazy looking
Yeah.
lamb with the human face.
Now, so I guess this is real then.
Yeah,
Could
I
I-
thought it was an April Fool's joke. I did some research on it, and I found out that the video came out on March 29th of 2015, and then the article was written the next day on March 30th. So this wasn't for April Fools.
Okay, so it was real then.
This was an actual thing that happened in Russia. It's from the Daily Mail and from YouTube. The lamb was born with the human features and eyes, nose, and mouth. They were all human, and the ears were the only thing that looked like a sheep. It made a number of grunting sounds when it came out, and the mom came up and nuzzled next to it. And the farmer had been waiting all week for his prize ewe to give birth, and when he came out, he was in for a big shock. He said it had been a slow winter, and he was ready to sell the lambs at market, but he couldn't sell them once he saw them. So he said the same thing happened in Argentina, and it was last year. The same thing happened. A goat gave birth to a calf that had a human's head, and they talked to a local vet, and he says that this is just a deformity caused by excess vitamin A in the mother's diet. So it's like a vitamin A overdose.
Wow.
or was this close to Chernobyl?
I know.
I have no idea.
Exactly. Exactly. Radiation. And they're not going to say it. But
No. Both families from Argentina and from Russia were subject to the abuse and horrifying accusations and by the superstitious locals. But he actually did receive a high price offer from a circus to buy the animal.
yeah, I can see that.
It's 10 times what the normal going rate is for one of these. And he says that she's a beauty, so she won't be going to anybody's dinner table. So I think he is going to sell it to the circus, where they're going to put it on display.
Yeah. I mean, that poor thing, but that would probably be the best. I mean, I wonder how much he's getting too. I mean, if it's 10 times.
10 times,
Yeah,
I don't know.
or whatever that is.
Like 35,000, 50,000.
I don't know. Depending. Yeah. So right on.
It
All right.
looks like an angry old man with a big nose.
Yeah. Let's see if there's another one. Yeah. Okay. Number 7. Oh, I think I know what this is.
What is it?
The can?
Yep.
Go for it.
This one came from chaoticfeed.com, and also Keith Rowland sent it to me, our very own Keith Rowland.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always watching out for us, too. So this is a group of Siberian entrepreneurs. They're hoping their new product will give Viagra a run for its money. And what are they selling? It's a can of fresh air. And Vladimir Mikota says that it's air from the Azuzskaya cave and the surrounding areas, and it's crystal clear, full of goodness, and has a healthy effect. It can apparently help strengthen immunity and positively impact the mental state. But the most important thing that they're claiming is that it works wonders for people who want to perform better in bed.
Okay.
Like sleep-wise?
No.
Sleep-wise, I think,
That's,
yeah.
right. That's it. Yeah. Can you order this on Amazon?
I think so. It said the largest order was from someone by Gonzalez in California.
Shut up. You suck. I told you not to
The
say.
area
I
is-
told you not to say anything, dude. You know what? We should like order a couple of these and give them away.
No.
Yeah. That'd be
Though
cool.
they are for sale for 200 rubles, which is $3 here.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna order some.
I want one.
We'll order some.
It doesn't have a thing to order them. I couldn't find a place to actually order them.
Oh, that sucks.
It's probably sold out by now.
Yeah. That's
You
funny.
open them and it smells
packed
like
with
fresh
ions,
bathroom.
healthy minerals, and vitamin particulates that help Bigfoot grow to his size.
Okay. Okay, just like
I don't know.
just like the pet rock.
It sounds scary.
Yeah.
I had a pet rock, sir.
Really? Did you know the founder of that just died?
Aw.
He was sleeping and a rock fell and hit his head.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Stupid.
No, he
What
died.
happens when
seriously.
you mess with Mother Nature?
Mother Nature.
Mother Nature
There you go.
gives you a drought.
Right on. So, hey, let's. I know this is the last one, but let's talk about your buddy who called us a couple days ago. Actually,
That was weird.
Last week, right?
Yeah. He had told me before, and I didn't know what he was talking about. So I said, okay, well, if anything else happens, he didn't have any proof or anything. So
Right.
I said, okay, if anything else happens, just keep us updated. And he came back again last week with more.
Okay.
More
So,
info.
and
He lives out in the Sanger area.
yeah. So let's tell everybody what happened here. And for all those who, if this is your first time, we talk about everything here. Obviously, we're talking about Bigfoot stuff. We get calls all over the place, and we have a couple of people right now sitting on the sofa. They're probably going to blow Sam away, but we've got several reports of a Bigfoot down here near Avocado Lake, and one on the outskirts of Sanger, in the orange fields. Basically, that's where they're coming down and they're munching down and they're going back up. Now, this guy lives right
He
at.
just moved into the house at the end of the last year.
Okay, and this is right on Indianola and Jensen Avenue.
Yeah, we're in that area.
In that area,
Yeah. It's a two-story house.
right?
He said
And
after he and his wife had moved in there with their family,
right,
they were sitting out on their upstairs deck and looking over the orchard that was behind them, and they heard like grunting sounds and something being attacked, and they said that it sounded kind of like a pig being slaughtered out there.
right.
And
Now, what's throwing
your
me
story,
right now? What's throwing me off is the chanting. They also
Yeah.
heard. Now, I don't know if maybe that was music coming from a radio of some type, or actually people out there.
what he was thinking, it was that they were like a Satan worshiping group out there,
Right.
slaughtering and sacrificing things and
Right.
stuff. And then we said, well, what kind of orchard's behind your house? And he said, oh, this was back in September, November, around there, and there's an orange grove back
Mm-hmm.
there. And I said, what?
And that right away
'Cause
tells you.
You've had 3 reported sightings already
Yeah.
in the same area, and all had orange groves.
And also the canal that's right there at Indianola and Jensen, it goes all the way up, and it actually passes through California and Academy Avenue, where we had the other sighting in that orange grove, and then it goes all the way up, and I think it intersects at Zedekar and Shields, where we had the other sighting.
That's the way we think that they move around through the
That
canals.
they're going through the canals,
Yellow.
right? That's how they're moving. So
And you also had a report of one carrying a pig.
and that one's over there at Avocado Lake, right?
Yeah. And he says that he sounded like a pig being slaughtered.
Right.
And his kids were out there, too, in the backyard one time, and they heard the chanting or the singing or something coming from the orchard.
See, that chanting just throwing me for a loop, though. I'm gonna have to go
I
out there.
asked him if it kind of sounded like a samurai chatter type of thing, because that's what you hear a lot.
Huh.
Maybe he was mistaking that for something. Or
I don't know.
he hasn't gone out there to look for footprints or anything like that.
I think he's
And
probably too
so we'll have
scared.
to let his kids go play out there.
No, hell no. So right on. Okay. All right, Danny. Thank you, man. Anything else?
All right. Actually, David Paulides posted today, this morning,
Okay.
and he was talking about the Les Stroud Survivor Man episode that just aired on Friday. I don't know if you had a chance to see that.
I'm
It was
not
about
sure.
the Hoopa Reservation.
No, I missed that one.
He's been getting hundreds of emails asking if he has been contacted by Les Stroud, and he said he was waiting for the first episode to air before he would say anything.
Right.
And since that aired on Friday, he said that he was contacted a year ago by Les Stroud, and Les let him know that he had read both of his books about Bigfoot, and he considered him to be pretty credible. He wanted to arrange a meeting with him. So they did meet in Denver, and he wanted to use him on 2 episodes. The Hoopa one that just aired, and also a Great Smoky Mountain one that's coming up.
Right.
And he offered him screen time, too, to be on there. He'd be the one hunting with him,
Mm-hmm.
and he declined. But he said that he knew two experts from both of those areas that he would offer up instead. So that one of those guys was already on, and the other one's coming up in a later episode.
Right.
But he said that he was on location with them for the weeks of shooting, and he was assisting with getting everything organized for them to be out there.
Right.
And he says if you look closely in one of the scenes, you
wearing
can
the hat.
see Les Stroud wearing the NABS hat
Right.
that he gave him, the North American Bigfoot Search hat. So
Right on.
there's a picture of a drawing of a Bigfoot reaching his hand in, as Les was telling one of the stories, there's a picture of a Bigfoot reaching his hand into a bathroom to try to grab a kid. And he said that's from his book.
Well, that looks like. Matter of fact, that's. I saw just recently, a couple days ago, while I was going through my video collection. I saw I popped in the Legend of Boggy Creek.
Yeah,
and
the same thing happens in that one.
Same thing happens in that one. So
My kids love that scene.
Really? So it's a great scene. All right, Danny. Thank you, dude. We'll see you now. You said you're going on vacation again in a month.
No, in June, first week in June.
Okay.
But I should be able to do the show.
Where are you going?
You don't have to worry about it. No, it's my kid's graduation, so I'm just taking the week off.
Oh, a week off.
Get ready.
Okay. All right. Right on. Okay. All right, Danny. Thanks, man.
All right.
See ya.
See you guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. All right. That was Danny Veldrum, our Squatch reporter for today. All right. Let's get into ghost stuff. We got Al here. Al.
Check live stream real quick.
Come on. No, we're good.
Oh, okay.
Why?
Cheryl says it's down.
No, it looks good to me. How can it be down? I didn't even.
Dude, not to interrupt, but Nathan just sent me a message about the chants that you guys reported up there. He said he was up by the lower end of the dam, and he was hearing that going on. So he actually went in a little bit closer, and there was like a group of Hmong people with guns, like in a circle, doing some weird. What?
Well, you know what? The chanting on this side, though, I don't think they'd be chanting in orange fields, though. That's what. Why I'm tripping out. That doesn't make any sense over here. Maybe up there, yeah. Interesting. Are we down, though?
No, she says it's back up.
Okay, back up. That's weird, though. All right, Elle. All right, well, okay, explain to everybody who you are and where you're from and what you do. Go for it.
Okay. Well, I live in Perrysburg, Ohio, and it's just outside of Toledo. My wife and I actually belong to a paranormal team for 3 years, a little over 3 years, and we weren't satisfied with the way things were going because, like with a lot of paranormal groups, what their goal was to go in and investigate and see if they could find evidence, see if they could see something, and then they go back and do the reveal and walk away.
Ghost hunters?
Yeah, it's like, okay, you want to have your own experience, but then you leave the people hanging.
Right.
We can't do that.
Right.
So my wife and I decided, hey, it's time to do something for the people. And actually, in the meantime, I had been managing a store in the Toledo area and got to know a priest. And he was actually from up near Detroit. But the cool thing is he mentioned to me, he said, look, if you guys ever need anyone for an exorcism,
wow,
here's my card.
That's
wow.
so cool.
I said, all right, this will work.
See, now, can a priest just do it on his own? Doesn't he have to get permission?
Well, this is an interesting thing, and I can't reveal a whole lot of information about him because they don't want to really be known
Sure, they don't want to be
out there.
associated with.
But the way he described it to me is they're kind of the red-headed stepchild to the Vatican. They are the old true Roman Catholic Church. Okay, so what they're doing is the old traditional way. They're not doing like the new Catholic Church that doesn't want to have anything to do with exorcism or demons or anything else. So what we did is we went ahead, and a year ago this last January we started our own team. Okay. Shortly after we started our team, and this was so unique how everything unfolded, you've heard of the show The Dead Files.
Yeah.
They came to Toledo, and they investigated a house in East Toledo. Just so happens that me and a couple guys left work one day, went to lunch, and I have a habit of just handing my card out, when I see people. And this girl rang us up, and I handed her my card. She took a look at it. She looked up at me kind of strange. She said, "Is this for real?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "They just filmed an episode of the Dead Files in our house in East Toledo, and we're told that we have 3 demon entities in the house. Can you help us?" I said, "I believe we can." So we met with the family. We found out what was going on. We started to put our game plan together. And we decided that we did not even want to just go into the house, do an investigation, find evidence for ourselves, because the evidence was already there.
Okay.
So I contacted the priest. We went through, the setup of getting everyone together at the same time. We got everyone to the house. And actually, if you don't mind, I can play this right here.
Does it have an earphone?
That's all right. I can just
You
play
put
it
it right
right
there?
into the mic.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
When these priests do their exorcisms, of course, they have somewhat of a script, and he handed the English version of the script to everyone, but it's done in Latin.
Yeah.
Okay. And I asked him afterwards, I said, "Well, what is the meaning behind the Latin?" And the way it's explained to us is, number one, Latin is one of the oldest known languages that still exists. And Latin is a pure language. Every word in Latin has one meaning, not like in the English language where there and other words have multiple meanings.
Okay.
He said when he says something, it has the one meaning. The devil knows what he's saying. He says if he's telling him get the hell out, it's time to get the hell out. Okay?
Okay.
And this is the blessing of the house. Asparagus me Domini sopa mandabar, lavabis me et supernivum de lababar misere me Deus, secundum animus recordium tuum, gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto, sicut erat in principio, et nunc et semper et in saecula saeculorum. Amen. Asparagus me Domini sopa mandabar, lavabis me et supernivum de lababar, adjutorium nostrum in nomine Domini, qui fecit caelum et terram, Domine exaudi orationem meam acclamor meus ad Divinium.
Okay. Of course, I don't want to play the whole thing because this goes on for, between 10 and 15 minutes. We read along, and actually during this first exorcism, we had a real interesting situation happen because we made sure that everyone that was there had something that had been blessed to protect them. But the owner of the house still started getting attacked. She started feeling sharp pains in her lower back. So I had her sit down, and after she sat down, I mentioned to her real lightly, grab hold of that cross, tell it to go away. After a matter of moments, I saw relief start to come to her. It was shortly after I saw the relief come to her, and I started having the hair stand up on the back of my neck, and actually had extreme tingling going on. And it started roaming up into the back of my head. Then it started down back behind my shoulder blades. So I reached down inside my shirt, grabbed my cross, pulled it out, and in my mind started saying, "Stay away. I'm not your vessel. You're not welcome here. I'm not taking you home. Just leave it alone."
Right.
And in a short time, I started feeling more normal again. And actually, my body temperature had even gone up while this was going on. That temperature came back down. Everything got back to normal. And it was just a short time right after that he finished. Now, months went by in that house with nothing going on. Everything was fine. And one unique thing that happened is the mother and her friend had moved to another house in North Toledo. The daughter was still living in the East Toledo house. I get a call from the mother, and she says, "I've been scratched in the North Toledo house." So now we know that this thing traveled with them. So I took this recording and I put it on my loudspeaker and I went around and I played it through the house and I blessed the house. No problem since. So, you know, when you go after them with, you know, what they know they don't want to hear.
Right. Now, religion, as far as how were you brought up? I mean,
Okay. I was brought up, actually my parents were not very religious. We were interacting with the Lutheran denomination. I was baptized Lutheran. My sister would take me to church here and there as I was younger. And then my uncle, when I was a teenager, started taking all of us kids to a Baptist church. And of course, Baptists do not believe in, you know, ghosts or demons or anything else. As time went on, I had kind of separated from the church, but always held my belief myself.
Sure.
Had a great experience myself personally in about 81. This was in an abandoned building that a friend of mine and myself were gutting for the gentleman that owned it so that he could renovate it and start a new business. Had some good events there. And then when I met my wife, my current wife, and, you know, we started watching some of the shows on TV. And one day I just kind of looked over at her and I said, what would you think about doing something like this? She said, well, I don't really believe in it that much, but if you want to, let's give it a try.
Okay.
So we started.
You know, you have to start someplace, right?
That's right.
I mean,
That's right.
so, you know, we talk about that stuff here a lot. You know, we're a paranormal group. We investigate everything. My co-host, Alan Thomas, he is really into the religion part of what we do, the Bible and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, we have gone out in several homes, and I've also talked about it here that I hate it when these groups go in, and like especially ghost hunters, taps, all right? That's all they do. They'll go in and say, yes, yeah, you're haunted. You're haunted. See ya, we got our episode for our TV show, and then they leave them hanging, right? And, you know, that's BS, man.
Right.
That is BS. So, you know, we found that by saying certain things, and Alan kind of found out how to do it without a priest, just by saying, you know, the Jesus Christ, and you have to be the owner. You know, I've actually went before we started really doing this really heavy. I've gotten candles blessed, holy water, gallons of holy water, rosaries, all that, because I was brought up Catholic. So and we've actually been in several homes and removed whatever's been there. Matter of fact, we had an incident, and I'm just going to really quick, where the house had an evil presence in it, and it was attached to his son, and his son was like 17 or 18 years old. Unfortunately, the demon that was attached to the son didn't want to leave, and when Alan said some words to whatever was there to leave, the son got up and walked out, and he never came back home again. He basically moved out. But what's funny, not funny, but the father of the house called Alan and said, you know, the day after you did this, the house smelled like roses, and it has been clean. They have been living with that for so long. He lost his son.
I was going to say the poor son's probably still living with this.
But the son, when we were there, did not want to get rid of it, because you know, he has to be the one to say, you know, yes, get rid of it. He did not want anything,
Right.
you know. So unfortunately, he even said, you know what, I lost my son, but it's peace in my house once again, and it worked. What we did worked. And, you know, a lot of people, you know, religion and being, you know, Catholic, you know, yesterday I was at a retreat because my son is making his first communion in a couple of weeks. And, you know, the godparent and one of the parents has to go to the retreat, which I did yesterday, and they gave us a prayer, and I got it right here. And I found it interesting that I'm going to read you just a couple of lines, because there's a word in here that they're using that I just went, whoa. and I'm going to go ahead and read it really quick for you. It says, so I give you heart, and I offer my thanksgiving for all of grace which you never cease to bestow me. Then it says, O giver of all supernatural gifts, who fulfill the soul of Blessed Virgin Mary. Supernatural. All right. That right there blew me away. You know, what is the Catholic Church? They're using the word supernatural. I mean, this came out of someplace. And that kind of blew me away because, like you said, the Vatican is trying to stay away from this stuff.
Right.
They don't want to say it's all true.
Well, what it is, it's their past. It's old.
Right.
Like you mentioned, Latin. That was the original language. That's
Yes.
what they used to fight these things with. So that's why that holds more.
Yeah.
See, what they're doing here, this is more of an updated
Virgin.
Catholic version
Right.
for the new church. Whereas what he does is he goes strictly by the St. Michael prayer. Okay, and then he uses certain psalms depending on the circumstance in order to emphasize and put more strength into the
Right.
prayer. And I know that's how he operates.
Wow. So in the cases that you've had in the past, have you actually witnessed anything in there trying to, because you're telling me you've done several homes and actually got rid of whatever's there. When you are there, I know that you had, you know, the hair in your back stand up, but have you ever witnessed anything like door slamming or really the presence of this evil not wanting to leave?
Now, we have not witnessed that type of aggression coming from the demon. In talking with the priest, he has gone through those. And he said that most of the things that we're going to run across are going to be what he considers a low-level demon. It's something that came through a portal that someone opened playing with
A Ouija
on
board.
a Ouija board or tarot cards, whatnot. And these are the things that, you know, the devil is sending through just to torment. It's not really his right-hand men that he's sending through to the people that hold a little more importance and can be persuasive in communities and things. So these are things that, hey, you want to open a portal, I'm going to send my boys out and we're going to have some fun with you. And if we can even possess you, we're going to do that.
You know, I get a lot of calls. I have a 24-hour hotline, and I get calls from all over America. And as soon as they tell me their story, then I say, okay, have you ever messed with a Ouija board? And it's complete silence. And then they'll go, yeah, I'm up. You know, now, you know, I don't want to say anything, but last week, now, you know, never mind. Yeah, Ouija boards don't mess with. I mean, I've been telling people forever, don't screw with the Ouija board.
They have ones targeted,
Yeah, they're
like at little girls now, because they're all pink
they're
and
pink.
purple.
You know, that's crazy. And people go out and buy them just because, oh, it's cute. You know, but no, you guys stop playing with the Ouija boards.
Definitely.
Stop. So, all right. Instruments. What do you guys do? Do you guys, well, I guess when you guys go to a house, you guys already know there's something going on. So there's really no reason to go and investigate. But do you guys go and investigate sometimes?
Yes, primarily our goal, and generally for the priest's sake too,
So he wants to make sure.
we want to go in and get some kind of evidence instead of him just walking into something that someone's kind of having a nervous breakdown and
Right. Or-
wanting things to happen.
or drugs.
Very true. Very true. What happens when we get contacted, and generally people are contacting us through our website, or, you know, if I'm out handing out cards, you know, they may pass it on to someone that's been having problems. The vast majority of the people that call us do not have anything terribly threatening going on. So what we want to do is help them just to get comfortable in their house again. And a lot of times it's just something that's attached to either the house, the property, and it's just a lost soul that's stuck there that hasn't found their way out.
Right.
And we've even made bonds between the homeowners, dwellers in whatever building we're in, and the ghost, so that they can cohabitate together.
Wow.
And we had one here recently. Actually, we investigated her about 3.5 months ago. And after the investigation, now I went through the investigation with her dad at my side, and then the rest of my team, I always split up, put in different areas, do our sessions, and he spent the time with me. Well, he's now become a member of our team. But at the end of the night, I brought his daughter back over. And I said, well, look, nothing serious is really going on in your house. So what we need to do is to have you take possession back of the house. So her and I, and even her dad followed, we went through every room in the house. And I had her shout out to them, look, if you're going to mess with me, if you're just going to screw with me, you're not welcome here. This is my house. If you want to be here, you can stay here, but you have to let me know in a nicer way that you're here. And if you want to communicate, we've got to find a way to do this better. And we went through the whole house, did this. She's had no problems since. She's had a couple little things move on her, you know, that have happened before. And I think they're just saying, hey, we're still here, you know, but they're not messing with her anymore.
Well, let's talk about that. What are they there? I mean, there's got to be a reason they're there in the first place.
Right.
All right. You know, when you pass, if I die, I want to pretty much go up. All right. Now, are these guys, not guys, are these entities or spirits in limbo, or are they actual evil? And they're just sticking around to see what they can, you know, that's what I don't understand.
See,
Why are they still here?
In my mind, okay, and what I've gone through in my beliefs, I believe that there are people that, especially when they die at a younger age, if they have not lived out what they feel is their lifetime, they become attached to their home, they become attached to their property, or even at that time, there may have been a family member that they hated to leave. It's left them in that median range. And they were staying there to either protect someone or to watch over their property. And now they haven't found their way to the other side. And to tell you the honest truth, from the studies that I've had with the Bible, and I've even kind of discussed this with the priest, and he has a real hard time coming back at me with anything. But, you know, it constantly talks about how in the end time, when Jesus comes back, he will then raise the souls and take them on to heaven. So is anyone actually in heaven yet? Does everyone, when they pass, if they feel that they're ready to rest, they just rest until Jesus comes back? And those people that are still out there, those lost souls that are still in that limbo and watching over people, watching over property, they just haven't found their way to get there after they've resolved their issue. I actually helped a young boy cross over, and this was a few years ago. It was an interesting situation. It was a simple K2 meter that did it for me. I was able to ask yes and no questions, and he responded to me. And towards the end of my discussion with him, I asked him to look around. And I said, I want you to look around and let me know, do you see a bright light? And he responded with his yes. I said, have you ever seen that before? I got no response. The lights didn't light up. So he had not even looked for it before. And I think that there's times where you're in that space, you're afraid to even look. You're afraid of what could be on that other side.
Right.
And in talking with him, I told him, I said, look, I truly believe that if you go towards that light, you'll be reunited with your family. You'll see your loved ones again. You'll be in a better place. And I told him that we were going to another area of the house to investigate. I said, when we come back, I'll check on you, see if you're still here, and we'll communicate again. When we came back up, the room was totally different, had no hits on the K2 meter. And after a month, the family was called, and she said nothing has happened since we left. Now, he was opening cabinet doors. He went to the extent of literally pulling apples out of a basket she would leave on the table and lining them up in a straight row.
Wow.
This boy was about 9, 10 years old, and I knew it was a young boy from the things he was doing.
Right, right. Well, he probably had no idea, probably not a religious person at all, not familiar with, heaven or hell or Bible or religion, bright light, any of that stuff. And who knows if he's actually, like 100 years old, 100 years ago, we don't know how long ago he passed away. So he really could have been in that house or on that property a long freaking time. But I remember when Emerald, we went to that house, your friend's house, and we had the K2 meter on the bed. You remember that? And we were asking, and I mean that K2 meter does work.
Yeah.
I remember when Emerald was freaking out because we were asking some questions, and it was just answer after answer after answer, and I was going, holy mackerel, that's unbelievable.
Well, and the key that I've found with the K2 meter, for any of you investigators out there, is don't keep asking questions that specifically relate to where you're at and a family or anything like that. You have to ask some off-the-wall questions so that you're actually communicating with them. Something that is an absolute no, so that they won't touch it. Because I've even had situations where we're sitting there and, wow, it just seems like they're answering every question. Everything seems to be clicking. And then all of a sudden I look down and I asked the lady that, I was sitting with, I generally take the homeowner with me because I know that they're going to kick something up if anything is still right there. And I asked her, I said, well, is that cell phone still on? And she said, yeah.
That'll give off.
So, yeah, as soon as she started to power it down, the thing's going off like crazy. And I said, okay, now power it back up. And even when it went into its calm mode and it was dark, it's still processing.
Oh, no, it'll go like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we found that out, too, as well.
Yeah, so, I mean...
You have to go in and make sure there's no electrical interferences, make sure where the hot spots are at. There's electrical right above you. That'll give off some EMF, and definitely cell phones. When we go in, we usually leave our cell phones alone, because I remember one day we were doing that at the restaurant in Course Gold. And we were asking questions, and it was just like, wow, it's on the dot. And then all of a sudden, we got it close to the cell phone, and the cell phone would go.
Yeah, we're like, oh, great.
Oh, great. It was a stupid cell phone all this time.
I was actually in a building today in Fresno, which I can't tell you what building it was, but I'm walking around with the K2, and I had it down a little bit, and I started getting some hits on it. And I thought, oh, you ding-dong, you still got your cell phone. And I turned it off, and it went away. But we did still get good hits in this
cool deal.
place.
Cool deal. And I'm assuming that he had something to do with it. I'm not going to say who he is, but so that's cool. It's been a while since we've actually been on a ghost investigation, only because most of the calls that we're getting is out of the state.
Yeah.
And I'm able to tell them exactly how to get rid of it over the phone, because Alan has actually given us some information on how to do it. And they'll call me within a week and say, Jeff, it worked. It stopped. Thank you very much. And they've been forever trying to find somebody who would help them. And either they would call somebody and they say, well, we'll do it, but it's going to cost you $150 or $100. I mean, come on. That just completely you don't have to pay for that type of stuff. Those
you shouldn't have to pay.
No, those aren't the real guys at all. There are people like us here who do it because we care and we want to help people. That's basically, So, so the name of your group is
PSEI, Paranormal. Oh my, I don't even say the long version very often. Paranormal Spirit Encounter Investigations.
And you guys are out of
the Toledo, Ohio area.
Okay.
I'm going to give you some cards, and you will see in big letters at the bottom, free investigations. We do not charge for anything.
Right.
I will bless the house if we deem that this is a necessity. And a lot of times you need to do that just to get the client in the frame of mind to take their house back.
Right. So. Now, are you when you do this, do you? Because for us, when we go into a house, we have to make sure that the owner of the house is the one who wants to get rid of it. It's like when somebody calls us and says, you know, they're the renter or they're just staying there. Usually, it won't work unless the owner of the house, because the property it has to be the one who takes over the property. So, have you had any situations where, you know, you've tried and you can't get rid of whatever's there?
We have had 2 situations, and actually one of them was a situation, it was actually an apartment complex. And they did not want us contacting the landlord, the owner, anyone like that. And it's like, well, you know, we'll try to do what we can to protect you, but this could be a very limited situation. And we also explained to him right away that, you know, a lot of the things that are happening, we're probably going to be able to debunk, because when you're in a complex like this, if you're mainly hearing noises, they can be coming from anywhere. The one main thing that we do, and actually to backtrack, when people contact us, the first thing that my wife and I do is we set up a time to meet with them, and it has to be at their location where things are happening. This way, I have a questionnaire. It's about 16 questions, and I want to get to the bottom of exactly what's happening to them, where it's happening, how often it's happening. This way, we have a good idea if it's a situation where we really need to get in there quick, or if it's just something we'd be wasting our time with.
Right. Because, you know, we're doing this for free. You know, this is our time. So, yeah, you have to go in and make sure that, again, and I hate to keep saying this, but a lot of times people are just freaking out for no apparent reason. They hear possible water, you know, pipes knocking, or, you know, your neighbor upstairs, or, you know, stupid stuff. And then actually drugs come into play a lot too. You know, when people are on drugs and they're freaking out and they see spirits all over the place. So I totally understand where you have to go in and make sure that, you know, are we going to waste our time here? And I can see where, yeah, I mean, questions. When we go, I talk to them over the phone first, and then we'll go over there and then we'll go and sit down and talk to them and find out, okay, what exactly is going on. And then we will leave, and then we'll talk about among ourselves. Or at that point in time, we'll get the owner or the person to walk us around and show us, all right, where is this occurring? What are you hearing? Whatever. Sometimes we can debunk it right there on the spot, just like you guys. I'm sure you guys can figure it out. Oh, here it is. This is what's going on. And a lot of times it could be something really small, and they are so appreciative. You know, they're just like, oh, thank you, because the last thing they want is their freaking house to be haunted. All right? You know, that's the last thing that they want to happen. But when they finally realize it's just, you know, the hot water pipe, you know, knock on against a piece of wood or whatever, then it's cool. So yeah, I totally understand, because, you know, time is valuable for us. You know, it's, you know, sometimes you have to drive 50 miles, 75 miles, and it's, you know, it's your gas money, man. It's your time. So I totally agree. So, all right, that's cool. Let's see, it's almost to the hour. Anything else you want to talk about? I mean, is that the only thing you guys do? Pretty much just ghost investigations? Or?
Yeah, mainly ghost investigations. I mean, we're open to, you know, alien type things.
And that's where my next question was going to come in too, because you know, a lot of times, you know, abductions and sleep paralysis, they might think it's demons, but you know, we have between, you know, Emerald and myself and Alan, sometimes we think that, you know, aliens are the demons, you know, and as you see, you know, I got a couple of them around here, but so yeah, I mean, sometimes abductions and aliens do come into play in ghost investigations, actually. So I don't know if you've had anybody witness lights in the sky, and all of a sudden, you know, they're saying that they've seen a shadow inside, or, I mean...
I'll tell you what, Jeffrey, I'll try to brief a story for you. This is a great client of ours, Okay, and actually they keep inviting us out to have cookouts and everything else. I mean, we just had a great rapport with them. The first time that we met them, went out for the interview, we roamed around their property and everything, and the wife said, Al, I need to talk to you over here alone. So okay, let's talk. Well, she started explaining to me how since, you know, fairly young in life, she started getting abducted. And she could remember, you know, being transported up to a ship, being examined, being probed, the whole 9 yards. She said that her mother went through the same thing, her grandmother went through it, her daughter went through it. When they turned 40 years old, it stopped. Her daughter had just turned 40 years old. Now, her daughter was there when we met with her. And the woman told her daughter, look, I told Al everything. And she goes, oh, you didn't. He's going to think we're nuts. And I said, look, we cannot debunk it. We cannot say that it's true or false. Mm-hmm. So we have to just go with it, believe what we're being told. And if you're having paranormal, you know, experiences, then we want to help you. And what we ended up finding out is we found out that just down the road from these folks, back in 1901, one of the largest passenger train accidents in history happened. And the Wabash Railroad only released that 88 people died on this train. There were 2 trains that collided. We know darn well that there's probably over 200 people that died. You know, we got a lot of the roster names and everything, and there were a lot of people that were not even listed because of the circumstances. We believe that a lot of those lost souls are roaming all around that farm area. And the strange thing was, she had seen 5 solid apparitions, and every one of them was a different person. So we truly believe that this was part of the railroad. We got great EVPs out at the tracks. We got EVPs in our home. And the funny thing about it is, when we were out at the tracks, one of the EVPs that we got was a male speaking in Italian. There were over 100 Italian immigrants transporting from New York to Colorado to work in the mines, mm-hmm. and they perished on the train.
Now, was this the same house that had the abductions?
The same thing.
Then how do they figure it was where does the UFO and the abductions come into play into this?
You know, it was just one of them things where she didn't feel that had anything to do with it, but she wanted to be upfront and honest with us and tell us what had happened in her history. And I told her, and in my feeling, she is so open about what she's gone through that this is why those souls were looking for her, mm-hmm. because she was open enough to accept it.
So I'm thinking the whole family, they have a gift.
Yes.
Okay. So,
yes.
And that's Emerald has a gift, and that's, you know, she had, you know, when I brought Emerald into our group, we didn't know she had a gift until an incident that happened, which said, well, you got a gift. So, it travels from centuries back. It's in their DNA. You know, mm-hmm. they can see these things. Mm-hmm. So that's cool. I'm still trying to figure out how the abduction, and then the age of 40. Why at 40?
Yeah, now that strikes me. And the strange thing is, they don't even know how far back in their family this went, but it was only the females, mm-hmm. and it would start when they were young, and when they were 40, it stopped.
40 years old.
Yeah.
Suggestions there, Emerald, on the 40?
You got me stumped. I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know.
I know, I'm trying.
Well, when do women stop reproducing? At what age?
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
It can go up into the 40s. I think that there's been a few even in the early 50s.
Yeah. So maybe, I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there.
Right,
You're
right.
the alien expert.
Well, not really.
You know, and I think that the daughter actually had 1 or 2 daughters herself. Mm-hmm. So it may just be carrying on to the next one then.
Mm-hmm.
But the 40 years old, that's really bizarre. That's actually, I like that question, because
Well, because you figure you have kids before 40, so maybe after they have kids, they figure, okay, 40, they have kids, now we could jump to the next one. But still, that wouldn't give you a precise number like that.
Mm-hmm. But
That is
yeah,
pretty
they
weird.
said it was strange, both of them. Now, she didn't know if the same thing exactly happened to her mother, but with her and her daughter, it was both at 40.
40. Now I'm going to be thinking about that one.
Well, this gives you more to
chew.
into.
Yeah, I mean, because that could very well help us in the near future on a case. I mean, 40 years old. I mean, why 40? Is it because we're always talking about the third eye and because kids like for example, the young kids like my son could see things up to a certain age, and after that, then they stop seeing it, and I'm thinking it's because of all the stuff we're eating and the fluoride and all that crap. But
Well,
40 years old.
Do you want to know what my reasoning is as far as
The 40?
Well, as far as why kids can, communicate, see.
I think it's a third eye, and at a certain age it gets calcified, and then from there on, I think that's when everything stops. That's my theory.
Well, I asked Google a question. Midlife changes occur somewhere between the ages of 40 and 65. So that's where it starts. You know what I mean? That 40. But I don't know. That's still kind of weird. So something's happening at 40.
So what's your theory on this?
Well, as far as most of the medium type thing, the psychic type thing, a lot of times this will start at a very young age in a child, and it's simply because their mind is pure.
Right.
They are able to accept and digest and communicate, see the lost soul and everything else. As they get older, now, civilization is very different, and it keeps evolving in different ways, but one thing that's always been a common denominator is as you're growing older, and you even start talking about ghosts, you start talking about demons, things like that, you get a lot of resistance, and it's, oh, that doesn't exist, oh, that's BS, you shouldn't even be thinking about that. In our minds, then we start building walls. And we're starting to block those things out simply because, okay, well, it doesn't exist, I shouldn't even think about it. And also, if they did go through a situation where they were terrified at one time, this also starts building the wall. Because now they do not want to have to deal with anything that's going to torment them. And now it gets hard to see things. They don't feel those things anymore. Now it has to be something that's actually physical. Now their closet door has to open. Now the bedroom door has to have knocking on it in order for that soul or that demon to get through to them. And I think that a lot of us go through that.
That's that could be a theory that I don't know. The kids that we're familiar with, and a lot of the investigations that we do, a lot of research that we do, and I think that when we are born, we're born with that gift. I think right off the bat, everybody has that gift. And if let's say, for example, if we were living in the Amazon where everything is pure, and you don't drink the Pepsi, and you don't drink all the this just junk that we all inhale every day. If we were not eating that stuff, I believe that we could do things that some of these people who have gifts that can do as well. For some reason, like Emerald, she eats a bunch of junk, but that gift is still there. You imagine
That's a whole different thing, though.
Well, do you imagine though, if let's say if you were pure and you didn't eat all that junk? Because I think the government.
What are you saying? I'm dirty?
I think the government knows that special gift is out there, and I think they've been giving the people this junk from Monsanto and all that kind of stuff to block it. I really do.
Well, let me ask her this. Did you accept your gift at a young age?
It wasn't whether I had a choice in the matter. He says I do, but it's kind of something. It's different circumstances. It wasn't something I was like, I don't know how to. Can I just tell him?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm under a contract.
Okay.
I wasn't supposed to be born with it, but because I was sold off before I was born, this is what I'm stuck with.
Okay.
And the only reason I'm able to see things in my point of view is because I have it with me.
Okay.
I have him. So that's where that all comes from. So.
See, and realistically, if you even watch some of the shows on TV about the mediums and the psychics, they always have that guardian angel or someone that is at least blocking the bad from them. So they've accepted what they have, and now they know that they have a protector also. And I think that's how they can continue through their lifetime and accept communicating. But most of us, we've let, you know, modern day people just help us block it out. And that's my own feeling.
Right.
I mean,
right.
I do agree with a lot of what you're saying too.
Well, no, I agree with what you're saying. I mean, mine's no angel, I'll tell you that. But that whole guardian thing is, and I had mentioned that to you guys before, you and Alan, how certain people have these certain different guardians, and each guardian has their own characteristics. You even brought up levels with different types of demons, and I had mentioned that to you before. So seeing stuff like that connects really, really cool.
But she was brought up very Catholic, but now she doesn't believe in that anymore. She basically turned atheist. So I think that not wanting help from the good side is also preventing.
Well, no, okay, see, you're looking at it wrong.
How?
You're looking at it from you guys. I respect religion, anybody who does it. That's
Right.
whatever works for you. I was just going to ask about your recording. To me, it's a belief thing. If you believe in something so strong, it's going to work for you. It's going to protect you. Like you guys have the audio. Like I'll use Latin, but it wouldn't be in the same words.
Okay.
The holy water, that may work for you. It wouldn't work for me. One, because I don't believe in it. Like I tell Jeff all the time, the power of a person's will is so strong. When you go into battle with something like that, that's all it is. It's not physical. It's your will. And the more will you have, the more you can't take me down. That's what you're fighting. So when I don't throw religion into it, one, because I'm not religious.
Right.
So I had to find a different way. And then I realized, no matter what your religion is, you could fight these things off because of that belief in that particular religion or belief.
See, it is a battle of the mind, and it's just like I said previously, it's not even necessarily that we have to bring religion into it, but it gives people a comfort level.
Oh, yeah.
It gets them stronger mentally to where they can fight them off easier. And I do use holy water. I use oil. We'll put sea salt down if we need to. Whatever is going to help that person with their comfort level to get them happy again.
Okay. All right. No, I get what you're trying to say. Yeah. All right. I wouldn't want to live with what you have. That's just.
I didn't either, but it was.
I know you're saying that
I don't want to get rid of him.
That's just why don't you? And you know it's not. You know it's not a good thing.
I know it's not. Okay,
then why do you want it?
Because I don't want somebody else to go through it.
What makes you think it's going to jump off of you and go into somebody else?
No, I'm saying because he's here, I know what it's like. I could connect with people who have this. Like I was going to mention earlier, that boy you mentioned, the one who left.
Right.
I'd like to talk to him.
It's gone. I don't know.
I know that's the thing. Being able to talk to him because that's how I was when I was younger. I hated everything. So it's that getting past that. If I'm able to talk to somebody out of it and be like, okay, this is what happens, this is what you have to do, this is how you go through it.
Okay.
If I could help somebody,
oh, I see what you're saying.
I'll keep it to help somebody else.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I don't want a little kid to go through what I went to as a little kid.
Well,
She's a protector.
Okay, all right. I see what you're saying. It hasn't hurt you because I remember
It stopped after once we start because I told you this would all happen when we first met. And with everything that going on, 8th grade and everything, and then I took kind of the reins in high school. So it's not that power grab anymore. We're kind of on mutual terms. So it's not what it was before. He's still there, but not as physical.
Okay. Is it because of what we do here, or is it afraid of you now?
No.
No.
No. It's just I'm older. I can understand it more. It's that, okay, I have the mental capacity to take care of myself. I fought back. That's what it was.
Okay.
You can't. Fear just feeds into it.
Right.
So when you go into a house, you probably know, you go into a house, you can't walk in fearful because then they've already won.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. I just, to this day, we haven't had an opportunity for you to get
Tell
in there
everything,
and to talk to somebody. It's just that we haven't had that opportunity yet.
Well, we haven't told everybody the full story either. I think you're the only one who knows
on
the contract and how and why and.
Yeah, that's just from family members and stuff like that. I don't know if you want to talk about it.
Not right now.
Okay.
If you need to talk sometime, our number's on there.
So right on. So, all right, Al. Hey, I know you have to get going to go and have a barbecue because I think tomorrow you're leaving, right?
Yes.
Right on. Okay. Well, hey, thanks for showing up and telling everybody your stories. It's cool to have. I mean, we have guests in here, and people love it when we have guests because the stuff that you just talked about probably helped out a lot of people.
I hope it did.
And now since we have connections out in the Ohio area, Columbus. How far are you from Columbus?
We're a couple hours from Columbus.
Oh.
Actually, we try to stay within about an hour radius of Toledo.
Okay.
We would go as far as South Detroit, down to around the Findlay, Ohio area, over to maybe around Defiance, Ohio, and over to Sandusky.
Okay.
So we're kind of in that radius.
Because I just got somebody who called me from Columbus, Ohio, and I have somebody who's part of the team who lives in Chicago, and so she was able to call him and talk to him and help him out. I don't know how far they've gotten, but at least it gives me an idea. So if I do get somebody out in that area, I'll find out who they are, and then I'll call you first, and I'll say, here, this is the situation. You're more than happy to go and take it from there and go from there. But yeah, it's always good to have other people in because it's just not all about. I mean, we need help. There's so much stuff. Now, have you found that has this ghost entities, spirits, demon, has it been increasing? Have you been?
It kind of ebbs and flows.
Mm-hmm.
And we have seen what we'd consider more demonic activity within about the last 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Just before we came out here, we started getting a lot of calls.
See, and from what people are telling me, that the Bible and just people in the clerical and religious, they're saying the end times are pretty near.
Mm-hmm.
And 2015, 2016. The next presidential election, just all that. It's we have the Pope. They're telling me September this year something is supposed to happen. We have the Pope coming down to the United States to speak to Congress on the 25th of September, and I believe on the 28th or 29th it's the last blood moon or it's happening, and for some reason the month of September is a lot of people are saying something major is supposed to happen right around there. And I have been receiving a lot of calls lately from, help, demonic, spirit, evil. It's like, what the hell is going on here?
And if you think about it, with all the turmoil in the world right now today, with everything going on, and it just seems like, crime in our own back door is just increasing constantly.
Yeah.
It's a feeding ground.
Yeah, he's sending anyone that he can up here just to torment more and more and to make things more negative.
Right, and it's working because I see it on the news. Yeah, I agree. It's the negativity that's actually causing a lot of this. It reminds me of the Ghostbusters, the second one with the slime underneath, but there you go.
And when people will go to the extent of just flying a plane right into the side of a mountain, and them finding that his respiration never increased or anything during this dive. That is a sad thing, and what was he even possessed by?
Right. And you're talking about that the German airplane
Yeah.
that crashed.
Went down in France.
Yep. All right. Well, Al, again, thank you very much for stopping in. I got your card here, and obviously before we leave, I'm gonna give everybody your website and your email if that's cool.
Greatly appreciate it.
And for all those who are listening to us in the East Coast or Midwest, I'll give you the information, and we'll go from there. Again.
Yep. And if it's a situation where people are calling us outside of our range, I have been able to reach out to other groups in their area and get them connected.
Awesome.
So,
okay.
We'll do whatever we can.
Then if that's the case, then if it's in that area, that state, I'll give them your number and see if you can assist them and go from there. So right on.
All right.
All right, Al. Thank you for showing up, man.
right.
Appreciate it, guy. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that was Al from, and he had a problem saying it because it's his, and they think I can memorize it? Hell no. It's Paranormal Spirit Encounter Investigations. And before we leave tonight, I will give everybody more information on it. Thanks, Al. Don't eat too much.
You bet I will.
Thank you.
See you, Sam. See you guys. Take care. All right, that was cool. It's always cool to hear other teams, what they go through, and especially, remember we used to talk about this.
Oh yeah.
About I hate it when teams go in and say, "Oh yeah, you're haunted.
Bye.
Bye. See ya. You take care of it."
Well, what I like when we always get other teams, it is the similarities, like the same type of mindset, the things they've encountered and why they think that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like his recording, I think that's really cool. That is a nice weapon to have in your arsenal,
Absolutely.
especially if you're a believer. I mean, it wouldn't work if I was holding it or I was trying to do it.
Right.
But the majority of America, and some people not even in America, they believe in that certain religion. I don't know if it's Catholic or Christian. It's all the same thing to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Catholic. Roman Catholic.
Yeah. So to have that and to fully believe in something like that, especially done by a leader in that religion, a priest, that's awesome.
See,
Good.
that's very cool that he actually is in contact with somebody like that. Oh my gosh. I mean, the Vatican, like you said, they don't even want to have anything to do with it.
Because it's their past.
Yeah, I know.
It's stuff that they don't deal with anymore. They don't want to deal with it anymore. It's kind of stuff they put under the rug because you don't know what they're working with now.
Well, yeah, true. What's the name of the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger and oh my gosh, it's with the girl who comes back with that tattoo on her wrist, and they go into a church in the bottom of the church, and there's people with computers, and I'm sure the Vatican has people in charge of what's happening as far as evil. They have their people who know what's going on around the world as far as the demon possessed and
the Vatican's its own government.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
you're just giving it another name.
Yeah. So okay, right on. All right, you know what? This show was meant to be a prepping show, and I'm going to keep it like we're gonna continue actually starting now with prepping.
We're gonna prep.
Now, for years actually, people have been asking me, "You guys need to do a prep show. You need to do a prep show." I did a prep show many moons ago, about 4 or 5 years ago. So a lot of you guys missed all that, and obviously I've acquired some new stuff. I'm going to show you what I have, and I'm going to tell you what I think you should start prepping with. Now, why am I doing a prepping show right now? There's something happening. Our military is on, I don't want to say high alert. They're getting ready for something. And matter of fact, I'm going to read you guys something. NORAD in Cheyenne, in Colorado, in the Cheyenne Mountains, they're moving stuff back in to that particular mountain, and the main reason they are giving is it's going to, whatever they have in there, it's going to be safe from a hit from an EMP blast. Okay, and now you guys are probably going, what is that, Jeff? Well, I've always been telling you guys, what happens if the grid goes down. All we need is a nuclear weapon right in the center of the United States to go off 5 miles, 4 miles up in the sky. With that going off, a nuclear weapon will take out our electrical grid. And that's all the power in the United States. it will fry the lines, completely fry it. What else would do that? A solar flare, a really massive solar flare could come down and fry the lines of the grid, and that's it. We will have no power. So what happens if we have no power? Basically, our lives are going to change. Don't think that when the power goes off and the grid goes down that they're going to be able to fix that right away. It's going to take a long time, you guys. All right, and it depends how bad it is. If a majority of the grid goes down, it could take them years. And if that happens, then all hell is going to break loose on Earth, especially in America. Now, why is our government moving into the Cheyenne Mountains once again? From what I understand, 10 years ago, they moved someplace. And the reason why they were down there back in the day is because they were basically afraid of Russia and a nuclear, blast. And that's why they were deep inside the mountains. Well, now they are coming and they're starting to set up shop back in the mountains. Just recently, as of yesterday, 7 states in the United States were having drills with the National Guard. Texas, I believe in the Bay Area, they were also having drills. And they were having drills pertaining, like, if there was a dirty bomb, if there was a grid that the grid was going to go down, then the National Guard would step up and get in there and take care of business. I noticed here in the National Guard here in Fresno, on the north side of the airport, there used to be an empty lot. It is now completely filled with vehicles, trucks. That's all new. They didn't have that there before. This is all new. And they're moving these vehicles all over the place and placing them at National Guard locations. Something is coming up, guys. And, even last year and the year before, I would say, you guys need to prepare. You need to prepare. You don't know what's going to happen or what's coming up. Especially if you guys have kids, have families. When the in Louisiana, when they had the floods out there, they were down for several months. Okay, don't expect the government to come and help you. That's not their job. The government is not here to assist you, to help you. They are here. Our military, I'm going to give an example. The military is not here to come and save you, to give you food, to help you. The military is here to protect us and to break things and to kill things. That's what the military is for. All right. They might, the millions and millions of people that we have in the United States, we only have a certain amount of military personnel, of National Guard, that can help. And they're not going to be able to help you by giving you food to last for your family for your weeks or for months. There's no way. So don't even think that if the power goes out, if the grid goes out, let's say tonight, like for example, last night at 2 o'clock in the morning, our power went out here in our area. And I don't know why I woke up. Something told me something was not right. And I woke up at 2 o'clock. And I noticed it was very, very dark. Usually, I can see the street lights and our night lights in the hallways would be on. It was dark, and I woke up. I walked outside, and I walked out to the foyer and looked outside. Everything was out. Okay, even our internet was out, obviously, because there's no electricity. If the power goes out, you guys, there's not going to be any internet. There's not going to be any television, your cable. You're not going to know what's going on in the world. You're going to be completely, literally in the dark. All right? So it's going to be scary. And it could happen any freaking time. I mean, you can wake up one night or one morning, go turn on the TV, and there's no electricity. You can go to your cell phone and go Google, and it's going to say no internet connection. And you're going to try to make a phone call to let's say your mom or your dad's house, and it's going to say, all lines are down. You can't. What are you going to do? I mean, you can go to your neighbor and say, hey, what's going on? They're going to be able to tell you absolutely nothing because they can't figure out what's going on either. Now, depending on where the nuclear blast hits.
If it hits.
If it hits. Now, a solar flare, when the grid goes down, anything electrical is going to get fried. So we're talking your cell phones, your radios, your TV sets. Our vehicles now are made with all kinds of electronics, guys. Chips, digital, everything. If an electrical, let's say a solar flare comes down and just fries everything over the United States, all your cars, if you go to turn your car on, it's not going to turn on because all your electronics are going to be dead. Your battery's going to be fried. That's it. You won't be able to drive anywhere. All right. And I have to admit, I just bought a new truck and it's all digital. The cars that will survive. And if Alan was here, he's a car guy. He would tell me it's like 75 or younger, 74 or younger, because they have the distributors and very low maintenance, very low electronics.
But how many people actually have those cars?
I need to get my ambulance over here because my ambulance is like that. Okay, my ambulance is an old sucker, and it has a distributor cap, and in one, it has one part. And I've asked my mechanic, that Rick, and he says the only thing that's electrical is this thing and the distributor. And you guys, I don't know anything about cars, but my ambulance is a 19, I forgot what year it is, 75 or 80. It's old, but it's old enough that it doesn't have all the electronics. So we're going to be dead in the water. The only thing you're going to be able to do is drive your bike. Now, let's say the day happens and the grid shuts down and that's it, we're dead in the water. Whatever you guys have in your homes, as far as water and food goes, that's it. That's all you got. Whatever you have in the refrigerator, in your cupboards, in your closet, in your pantry, that's it. You will not get any more food ever. Just think about it that way. All right? Not unless the government, for some reason, is preparing and has backup food for everybody, which I doubt it. All right? So, what can you do to keep your family alive? I can tell you right now that if this happens, people will go from house to house, breaking down doors to see what you have to steal. And they're going to do that because they have kids and they have families they need to feed. And they're not going to give a crap about you and your family. They will kill you to get what you have. I guarantee you, they will kill you. All right? If you don't give them what you have, they will kill you. And I'm not joking. For all those people who live out in the country, you're probably lucky. For those people who live in cities and in towns, you're going to have to get out of there if you can. Or you're going to have to fight your way. And hopefully people won't come to your house to steal what you have because that's the first thing that's going to happen. So you need to protect yourself. All right? A lot of people don't like guns. They just hate guns.
I love them.
Okay?
That gives us the advantage.
Okay? So if you have guns, then I suggest you go buy more ammunition and start stocking up on ammunition. All right? For those people who can't get guns, because let's say you have a record.
Get a dagger. I have a bat. I have a gun. I have a sword.
I went and bought this before The Walking Dead.
A taser.
Okay.
What is that?
A crossbow.
Oh my God, I want one.
Okay. I actually went to Big Five and purchased.
Can you shoot it? Do you know how to shoot it?
It's brand new, but trust me, I can learn. All right. And I actually bought extra arrows. I got this 7-8 years ago before The Walking Dead even started to air. So I was way ahead of the game. Why? Because if you have guns, the ammo that you have, once you're out of ammo,
you're done.
You're done. All right? As in The Walking Dead, if you guys have ever seen The Walking Dead, when they shoot a freaking, a zombie with the arrow, what do they do with the arrow? They go and they pull it out, and they go like this to walk the guts off, and they use it again. You can keep using these until you break it, basically. All right? So I would suggest to go get a crossbow, and they're not that expensive. All right? And will they hurt somebody? They will kill somebody if you shoot them right in the chest, man. As simple as that. This right here, I got on sale at Big Five for $100.
Ooh, I want one.
All right? Crossbow. You need to protect yourself. That's the first thing you want to do is protect yourself. Crossbow. Or if not a crossbow, then like Emerald said, get some knives, get a machete. And again, let's talk The Walking Dead. What do the guys on The Walking Dead have to protect themselves?
A sword.
A sword, crossbow, machete, an axe if you have an axe. Like I said, if you cannot go get a weapon, or you can't get a weapon.
Even a really good, I mean, I've had the softball bat only because I play softball, but I still keep it in my house.
Sure, aluminum bat, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
you got a mean swing, that could do some real damage.
And let's hope that the person on the other side in the receiving end doesn't have a gun.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Then you're screwed. But yes, later on down the road, once everybody uses all the ammo, there's no more ammo, then people are going to resort to using sticks, knives and machetes, like you said. So get yourself something to protect you and your family. If you can't get a gun, go get a crossbow. That's my suggestion right there.
And it sounds stupid, freaking pepper spray. Get one for the bears.
Yeah, anything that you need to protect you and your family, then then that's what you need to get. But I have weapons. Emerald has weapons, and I have ammo. And you can never have enough ammo.
Oh no.
You need to go buy ammo like it's one of these days there won't be any more ammo. So go get as much as ammo as you guys can, legally buy. All right, that's my first thing when it comes to prepping is something to protect yourself with. And that's the first thing. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on because I got a lot of stuff to show you. You're going to be blown away on you got to understand, I have been prepping for a while. All right, and so all the stuff that I'm going to show you, I did not get yesterday or last week or last month. Granted, the stuff is expensive. If you guys are on don't have much of an income, then obviously you have to start off slow, but you need to start buying this stuff ASAP. So I wrote a list here, and let me go to my list so that way we can continue talking. What time is it? Oh, it's already 18:13. Shoot. All right, before we get into my list, let's go ahead and call Heidi. We're going to talk to Heidi, and then after Heidi, we're going to continue on with the prepping. And then we'll go a whole hour after that, and I'll show you all my little cool stuff here that I'm going to blow you away on what I have, and we'll go from there. So, all right, so we're going to get Heidi on the phone. And Heidi will be on here in a couple seconds here.
We didn't forget about you. We're going to put you on right now. Okay. You're good.
Heidi.
Howdy.
Hi. How's it going?
How's it going?
Good.
I hear you guys are prepping.
I've been
world or something?
Yeah, I've been prepping for a long time, and I've had people just bugging what out of me to do a couple of prepping shows, because I used to do it a long time ago when I first started, and I think it's time that I basically come out and show everybody the stuff that I have, and that's what I'm going to do today. We're going to continue doing this after we talk to you today. So
I'm going to hurl insults at people instead of shooting things.
Insults?
Prepping.
Okay. Good luck on that one.
Insults and I don't know, maybe flip them the bird. I'm hoping I'll gain some superhuman powers by that time. So.
Okay. I'm doing the old finger up on that one for you. So, all right. All right, Heidi, tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Well, my goodness. My name is Heidi Hollis. Everybody write that down. I always like to say I'm someone who has been there, seen that, experienced it, freaked out, found some answers, wrote about it, got over it, and now I'm hoping to help others do the same thing and understand this crazy world. I don't care if Bigfoot has his feet up on your couch. We will tackle it. I mean, let's just do it. So if you guys have experienced something odd, if you have pictures, drawings, or you just want to share the story, feel free to write me at oddadvicehh@gmail.com, and you could also visit my main website, which is HeidiHollis.com. I have lots of stuff on there discussing shadow people, Hat Man, Jesus Encounters, and all that good stuff. And I also welcome you to go to theotherfword.com. So, I mean, I just like covering all sorts of stuff. So I do my best to try to help folks just as my comrade here does.
Absolutely.
I enjoy it. It's fun.
It's our job. It's our calling, right?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, okay.
Indeed. I mean, it's like if I could do it in my sleep, I really, really would. But perhaps I do. I don't know.
All right. Heidi sent over some photographs, and we sent them to the Dark Matter Network, and artbell.com website has them up right now on the homepage. Well, actually, their link is there. So all you got to do is click on the link on Heidi Hollis and today's date, and you will see the photographs that we're going to be talking about right now, and I'm going to be showing them on our end as well. So let's go to photograph number 1, and I have a large house.
A big, beautiful, pink, fluorescent house.
What are we talking about?
To me, anyways. This story is really interesting to me. I like to just cover stories that have, gone in the past or that are current, whatever. I mean, this is just something fascinating to me. So this house represents a court case that happened July 18th, 1991, the Stambowski versus Ackley case. Have you ever heard of this case?
No.
I have to ask. No. Okay. So this is crazy. Okay, this case is known as the Ghostbuster case. I mean, I'm just blown away that I had not heard of this before, and so I had to chew the fat on this. Okay, so supposedly Helen Ackley owned this house and sold it to Jeffrey Stambowski. Helen Ackley between, let me see, what are these years? 1977 and 1989, she advertised this house essentially as being haunted with lots of poltergeist-like activity going on. Like she claimed her grandchildren were given gifts that she gave them of baby rings, which all of a sudden would disappear later one by one. And she also claimed that one ghost liked to wake her up every morning by shaking her bed. And one time, this was kind of funny, she exclaimed loudly to this ghost, that she did not have to wake up early every day, that she would like to sleep in, and her bed did not shake the next morning. So she essentially, made a big deal of this. I mean, she informed the Reader's Digest and the local newspaper on 3 occasions between 1977 and 1989 that her house, and it was it was a pretty big house. I think it was 5-bedroom or something like that. She advertised that this place was unbelievably haunted, and it was included on a 5-home walking tour of the city, to and this house has such and such going on. So it's like a big freaking deal. So lo and behold, this sucker, Mr. Stambowski comes along. It's like, ooh, it's a pretty house. I want to buy it. And so he goes to buy this house, and mum's the word. She doesn't say anything to Mr. Stambowski about how absolutely crazily haunted this house was, and slapped down $32,000 as a down payment for the $650,000 house. And so he was from New York City, so he wasn't aware about all this folklore and everything. And when he learned of the haunting, he filed an action requesting that the contract for sale be considered as fraudulent for misrepresentation by Mrs. Ackley. And the realty firm, because the realtor firm, Ellis, also knew about this. So, I mean, I don't know about you, but I would have been ticked too. But Stambowski, he didn't attend the closing or something, which caused him to forfeit the down payment. So so he was saying he wasn't obligated to buy the house and all this stuff. New York Supreme Court dismissed the action, and he appealed it and whatever. But they actually ruled in favor of the former owner initially, and from what I can find, they overturned it, but they never really discussed what was the final conclusion. From what I understand, he did get this house, and he sold it later on, but never discussed how much of a loss and whatnot. But it's known as the Ghostbuster ruling. I mean, it's pretty hilarious, but but horrible. I would want to know, wouldn't
Well,
you?
yeah, well, isn't it by law that if someone dies in a house and you sell it, you have to disclose that? Is that I've heard that is actually.
I think you're right. That's true. But if the house is haunted, real estate doesn't have to tell you.
That's a nightmare.
That sucks.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I'm just like, I think I would want to know. I think that's one of the first questions I'm going to ask in buying any properties is
Right.
like, look, just tell me. Something go bump in the night? Do you know? Does it have a face? Is it demonic? Just tell me like it is. Or maybe walk through with some holy water or something and sprinkle it around and see if it sizzles when it hits the
Right.
floor. I don't know.
Wow. That.
I mean, but that's, I don't know. I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Once you lay down the down payment and that you sign the contract, that's it. It's yours.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. Not unless there's a law pertaining to something like that, and I'm sure each state has to come up with their own law. But that sucks. Yeah. And that's scary.
I'm sorry. This is such like a big thing. I do see where it says that Ackley did have to keep it. Oh,
Wow.
finally the doctrine. He did get it overturned. I'm sorry. It's so funny. It's like I read through this darn thing and I see this one little stinky line that she did. The prior owner, she had to keep it and she sold it in 2003.
Okay.
Funny.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow. So okay.
That is just crazy. But still, I mean, the guy had to go through a whole lot of crap to get that to happen.
Absolutely.
That is just,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, I don't
no.
know. It's like if you want to get a house off your hands, don't go around and brag and put it on the city tour of how haunted your place is, and then try to sell it to a sucker from out of town. That's
Right. And you know what? Well, there are people who look for these type of homes to move into. I mean, and these are the crazy people, who are
True.
into the occult and who like this stuff and who would love to purchase a haunted house. Now, something like this, like the guy from Ghost Adventures, I don't know, Zach, I think his name is. He purchased a house that was extremely haunted, and he wanted to make it into a bed and breakfast, haunted house type of deal. And if you can do that, there are ways to really invest your property if it's haunted. But
well, that's just like okay, I'm going to buy some property out in the middle of the woods, and I'm going to build a fire pit with a spit, and I'm going to turn people on it as a sacrifice to some aliens that I would like to,
Right.
get them to. I mean, why would you welcome people into a demonically possessed? Because I lean towards if something's going bump in the night and it's irritating you, it's not a friendly thing.
No.
So I'm just like, you're throwing them to the wolves.
yeah,
Go up there to
that's cold-blooded.
It is. It's like, I guess may follow you home.
Wow. All right.
crazy.
That's crazy. An awesome story there. All right. Number 2.
Yes.
Now.
Number 2.
Now.
This is wild. I had not heard of this.
Oh, really?
But
I have actually.
you did?
Yes.
This is just wild. So I was surprised when I came across this. I just love digging up stuff. This is a UFO that came over the Dome of the Rock Temple Mount in Jerusalem, January 28th, 2011. I don't know. Maybe it crossed my path. I don't know. I just too much crossed my path. But what a cool video. I mean, from all the accounts that I found, people are finding this to be legit. These guys posted this video on YouTube, and this is what they stated. This morning around 1 a.m. at the promenade of Armin Hansif in Jerusalem, I was witness with another guy, an amazing UFO aircraft over Jerusalem Old City, Mount Moriah, Dome of the Rock, Temple Mount. What is the meaning of this sighting? And I gave a link also on Art Bell's site there. Just watch the video. It's pretty incredible. And as you're seeing with the Dome of the Rock, this is like probably, from what I understand, it's one of the holiest spots. I mean, for Muslims, though there's various holy spots, but this
Right.
this is something really spectacular. This is where oh gosh, I'm trying to remember the name.
Right.
Where the leader, I can't. Where he ascended into heaven, and and they built this temple over it. Oh, what is?
Well, I'm gonna tell you about this video, and this video came out actually a couple of years ago. It definitely made the rounds. Now, you know, when you get videos like this, it's hard to really distinguish. All right, is this real or is it not real? You know, because you don't know. Unless you know the people who took the video, then obviously you will never know. This is a great video. I saw this video and it blew me away, and a lot of people were just freaking out because this was like the Temple Mount. You know, this is the most holiest place of all places, and then to have a UFO come down and just hover and then zoom right back up, it's incredible. Well, a couple of these kids who took the video came out and said it was their class project at the college. And that's what they said this was. Now, I don't know how legit that is, but that's what happened. That's what they came out and said afterwards, that this was, you know, because they racked up the views on YouTube. Oh my God, it went into the millions. And then they came out and said, well, it was a class project at their school, and they wanted and you know, they put it out there, and because it got me. I thought it was real. A lot of people thought it was real. But to this day, again, I don't know if those were the actual. Again, it was just words. We never heard this coming from their mouths per se. It was just.
Right.
It was just.
I had heard that as when I was researching and looking through this as well. But you know, what I wanted to bring up with this video is, you know, pretty much what you're saying. It's like, you know, you get these amazing things that get shared out there, and it's like, well, how do you know it's legit or not?
Right.
And then it's like, okay, so you get this amazing video, and it's like you have people weigh in and they're like, well, it looks real. This looks like this is something that's really happening. And I have different captions of the video.
Yes.
You see where this light lights up the city and then takes off again. And, you know, it's like, but how do you know? And how do you know the ones that supposedly come forward, who, again, you do not know, say, oh, that's fake, we just made that up.
Now, you don't.
No.
Now, what's cool about this situation is that they're talking about it on the chat, is that several other people actually below on the ground floor near the Temple Mount got it on video as well. So, okay, so now, you know, we are getting the actual people who, you know, the main video itself, you know, they're coming out and saying, you know what, it was us, it was all a freaking joke, you know, it was a class project. But then you have these other people who weren't part of their group came out, well, wait a minute, I got it on video too. So when I heard that, I went, well, back up a second. That doesn't make any sense. You know, again, our government out there, you know, put people into place to say, hey, you know, it was just a class project. That's all it was.
Right.
You know, move along. There's nothing to see here. So, so yeah.
It's so angering.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I mean, I heard, what's that?
I have a question. What were they saying was the class project? Like, they faked the entire video, or that light was their class project?
The whole video, it was the whole thing.
So they're saying the video was fake, not that they never had went there.
I think they used CGI.
Okay, so they had the base video,
right,
and then they inputted the light on their own. That's what they were saying.
I think that's what they're saying.
Well, that's false if there's other people who have the same
exactly.
video.
That's what I'm
saying.
Incident. That's what I'm saying too. So at this point in time, I don't know. You know, it's hard. It's on the other side of the world. So it's like, God, if this happened here in America, then it would be, you know, I would probably be going over there to speak to them in person to try to get to the bottom of this. But we can't. So, this is a great freaking video. For those who haven't seen it, go to the artbell.com website right now. The link is there. Heidi gave it to them. Very, very cool video.
It is. And you can see how this light illuminates the city.
Right.
I mean, and this last clip that you have there, this caption. I mean, it reminds me, what this video reminded me of, and how, it got poo-pooed and people just turned their backs to it. Reminds me all about the crop circles, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, look, we could do one too. Look at this. You know, we've replicated it, or this is all fake. And now a lot of people really just turn their backs to the whole story.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's
No,
like, I don't know.
No, you're right. No, in the crop circles example, it's a really good example because, these intricate designs on these wheat fields are just unbelievable. The 90-degree angles and it's just how can somebody make that? And
Right.
people come out and say, "Yeah, it was me with 2 ropes on a board squishing these things." I'm going, "Come on, you're out of your freaking mind."
I know.
Oh yeah, we did it in
It
one.
works.
Yeah, and then we did it in one night. You know what? Shut up.
It works, though. It gets the public to turn a blind eye
Yes.
to the whole phenomenon.
Exactly.
And it's like
Yeah.
you said, nothing to see here. And it's just so aggravating. But this video blew my mind when I saw it. And it's like, well, how interesting. And it was Muhammad that ascended from the Dome of the Rock there.
Okay.
And so they created this temple around it. So it's an amazing, Jerusalem itself, I've been there, beautiful, just magical, a magical place. And just as you imagine in biblical times, it still exists,
Right.
just as it was.
Right.
And, to think that the birthing of 3 major religions all right there.
Right there. Right.
It's just so concentrating. And then to have this happen there, it's really, I don't know, it's an important piece of history. And for it to be poo-pooed, even if somebody did say, if this was truly faked, wow, they should be ashamed of themselves.
That and they better have gotten an A on it.
Amen. But I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's just a little. It's one of those things.
Right.
It's crop circle talk.
Who knows? Yeah. No. I would have said it was false if it was just these guys, but I remember seeing 2 other angles from videos out there that had the same thing. So, again, you don't know. You don't know. All we can do here is say, look at this video. It is really cool looking. You need to make your own, your own adjustments on it, and do your own research. Go out there and see how many videos are out there, and see if it's can it be easily debunked or easily made. Anything nowadays can be made on a computer, guys. It can. So there you go. So all right, next one.
Pretty amazing, and it's. I don't know. I think so much disservice is being done out there. It's like people don't know what to believe, and it's like go with your gut. Then don't trust what being shown to you by other people because they could do magic on a computer.
Right.
Go with your gut. Have common sense. It's a trillion, quadrillion, whatever universes out there.
Right.
There's got to be life.
Yes.
There's got to be life.
Absolutely.
This next caption. Okay. All right. So I'm just putting a bug in everybody's ear. All right. This is a little bit of a conspiracy, a little bit of chatter out there. Not a whole lot, just a little bit of chatter. The more recent year crew that was heading out there to the International Space Station. These are captions, and I also put the video, the YouTube video of this little event going on where the crew is docking with the International Space Station. So this is interesting. Okay, so you see that little dot off to the right is about to come in and pull in and connect to the International Space Station, and they're kind of filming this event here. And as you go to the next shot, they kind of zoomed in on this crew coming, and we see something kind of get illuminated, in between them. Now, some of the chatter out there is saying, well, it's just a reflection, of the space station. I'm like, it doesn't quite match, the exact same shape, and it's pretty distinctive, and in its own shape.
Right.
Yeah, it kind of resembles, but not quite. And then you go to the next shot, and I'm clicking down too.
Got it.
And it really lights up, and essentially gives off a reflection.
Right.
And I'm like, if that's a reflection of the space station itself, why isn't it showing just a little bit more the space station's arm where they're about to dock at? So, and during the video, you hear them say something in regard to turning on the floodlights, and this object just just really pops then.
It lit up big
and
time.
then, almost as if they realize this is really coming into focus, they zoom in on the crew coming in, and on this next picture, you see it kind of blurs out. Like, magically, that object is just not seen anymore. And I'm like, whoa, that looked really kind of purposeful. Like,
right.
They really pulled in close to not show this object off to the left.
Right.
And then we see, like, they've really been able to clear it up, and all we see is the crew coming.
Right.
And it's, like, really crystal clear as far as the crew coming. And then the next picture, they're docking with the space station. I am just a little, I don't know. I'm putting this bug in people's ear because I'm like, what was that? Is it truly a reflection? I don't know. Could be, but
right.
It looks a little funny and suspicious to me in the way that they control the camera, too.
For those who, I'm going to go back to this probably photograph here. For those who know a lot about UFOs, go Google the Black Knight, or the Dark Knight or Black Knight. Let me Google that. It's supposedly a extraterrestrial craft that has been up in our atmosphere for quite a while, and they named it, I'm going to say the Dark Knight or Black Knight. Hold on, I'm googling it right now. It just hit me.
That shadows everything. Right?
Yeah, it just that it's maybe the Black Knight. Hold on here. I'm trying to.
I know what you're speaking of.
Yeah, the Black Knight satellite. Go Google that. Now, obviously, when you're in space and depending on where the light source is coming from, the sun or whatever, it's going to look different. It depends how far it is. But on the Black Knight satellite, it has a tail fin on it. All right. Now, when I'm looking at this photograph that you put up here, this thing has a tail fin on it. All right. Now, depending on the angle of the video, this could very well be that Black Knight satellite that has supposedly been in space around Earth for a long time. I just wanted to bring that up because if this thing here, Heidi, didn't have the tail fin on it and it was just like a streak up and down, then I would have said probably a reflection. But I see a tail on it, right. and it's telling me that Google Black Knight satellite, you guys.
Yeah, I did. I'm looking at it. It's pretty wild.
Okay,
pretty
so
wild.
just imagine that at the same angle as this thing. You might have the same object. Obviously,
yeah.
Depending on the angle and the camera angle, it's not going to be that focused and not that clear. But there you go.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It is okay.
There's one picture, and I don't know which one you're looking at, but it's the one looking from the back end, and you can see the tail fin on it.
Yeah.
So it at different angles, you can see it differently. So.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I do see that. That's really interesting. I'd heard of this thing before, but I never looked at the pictures of it, the images of it. But yeah, but it's you guys got to watch the video because it's just so purposeful. Like, it reminds me of those. What were those satellite images of UFOs going in and out of our atmosphere? Those from the space station where they were filming the Earth. And they would hone in on certain things, and then they would, totally blur things out. And I'm like, this reminds me of, oh, crap, that thing's visible. Let's zoom in so we could blur out that image that's coming up. It's just so purposeful, this video. I'm like, what? What did I just see there?
Exactly.
It's really, really distinctive.
Yes.
And I did my best to capture these images because, wow, it blew my mind. If it's a reflection, that's, I don't know.
It's hard, but you can't. The International Space Station has been capturing many, and I'm going to say UFOs because they're unidentified objects near them, flying right near them, and this has been happening since the 70s with the Apollo mission, and even our astronauts are pretty much saying that, you know what, we're not alone. We have seen things fly with us up there, but we're just told not to say anything. It's just, it's as simple as that. So.
Yeah.
And
this one, I mean, I'm just stunned that, they essentially allowed this video to exist.
Well, I think it was an oops. I don't think it was supposed to let out, and it was just got let out by accident. So.
That's a big oops.
Yep.
That's a real big oops.
Big time.
So those are my reports, but I do have a couple of emails if you have time.
Yes, go for it.
All right. Okay. So as I said, I welcome everybody to send me their stories of odd things that they've experienced, or they have comments or pictures or drawings, whatever it is, from angels to aliens. Feel free to share. And just write me. And so I've got one here, an email that was sent in. It says, Dear Heidi, I just finished reading The Secret War, and for anybody who doesn't know, that's the first book that I wrote that's based on alien conflict, the war that's going on between positive and negative aliens, and how shadow people are involved. So it's the first book that named and discussed the topic of shadow people that I wrote in 1997. So they say, I just finished reading The Secret War, and wow, what an important and fascinating book. Well, let me pat myself on the back. I'm just kidding. I couldn't put it down. Every other page I was screaming, oh my God, been there. I've always known I have a mission. If I can just get beyond the post-traumatic stress disorder. I listened to a few of your shows and love your approach and sense of humor. You're doing great work. I've been doing research for my own story and hope that writing a book would be therapeutic for me. I came across a link to your site last week while reading UFOs, Portals, and Gateways. Oh, okay. I started my own search for answers 6 months ago and had a consult with another author who researches anomalous trauma, super soldiers, etc. My time with this person raised more issues than it solved and got me started on a quest down the rabbit hole that has taken me to you. Okay. I found bits and pieces here and there which validate my experience, but some parts of the story are still unexplained. Although I realize that this lifelong weirdness is not really explainable anyways, at least not in terms of our accepted reality. I just haven't found any other similar accounts, and isolation has been painful. And that's where I'm hoping you can come in. After finishing the book, I thought, okay, do I blame the rest of my odd things on shadow people? LOL. I noticed that you encourage people to contact you with their histories, although I'm not sure I'm ready to talk out public and out on the show. I wanted to ask you, do you do private consults? Oh, that's interesting. I'd like to write out a synopsis of my story and get your comments. I've had no luck in finding a support group or a therapist, and your feedback would mean everything to me. I'll gladly give you a donation for your time. I'm just starting the Hatman book today. Thanks and kindest regards, Mary. Oh, that was nice. You know what? It's just I don't know about you, but it's like I hear a lot of people that feel so absolutely isolated when they're having these types of odd experiences that nobody can relate to. And my gosh, yes, it'll give you post-traumatic stress disorder. And who do you talk to? You know, you go to a therapist and they're scratching on your a record to call you schizophrenic, paranoid, bipolar, whatever it is, to even breathe a word of having experienced something like aliens, Wow. It's terrible.
And that's why people shut up. They don't want to, say anything because, especially if they have a government job or a high-paying job where they realize what you are talking about, and that goes in your records.
Yes, it does.
And if you want to move up in that company, you ain't going no place because you are just tripping.
Yeah. And you know what? It's like I'm not very shy about my connections to these odd things. And for those of you who do not know, my head is not attached. It sounds really strange, but yeah, I have a really rare thing where I have no bone that connects my head to my spine. So it's a strange thing. I have to go to doctors all the time, and every once in a while they're like, "So what do you do?" And I'm like, "Oh God," And they're like, "Boy, this girl really takes it literal that her head is not attached to the clouds." But it's like, I think there's a healthy balance that people need to create in their lives. And that's why I have the sense of humor that I do when it comes to this stuff. And some people appreciate it, some people don't. They're like, why are you laughing about something so horrific? I'm like, because, there's too many people that know how to scare people to death where they don't want to learn anything. But it's like, if you want people to feel comfortable, talk about these things as you would any other topic. And yeah, I write my books in the same way that I discuss things, because it works for me, and it works for most people, I think, when it comes to trying to get a handle on something that could be outright terrifying and cause you stress, and diagnosable stress even, like PTSD, like this poor Mary has. So, I think, to address Mary directly, please go to my website, HeidiHouse.com, and please check out, I have a group that is online where people share their stories. And also, hello, Jeff, what is your phone number for somebody like Mary to call?
Yes. Our 24-hour paranormal hotline is 559, area code, 287-8367. 287-8367. The last four numbers represent the letters UFOS. And, you can call me 24/7, but I'm on the West Coast, so if it's not an emergency, preferably when I'm awake and not asleep at 2 o'clock in the morning, that would be awesome. But if you are witnessing something, that's just out of this world, like a mothership, hovering over your city, by all means, call me. I don't care what time it is. But if you need help, and I cannot help you, I will send you right to Heidi. I will give Heidi your information, and she will call you or email you, and then you guys can communicate that way.
Indeed, and I have to tell you, Jeff, some of the folks have been rather shy. I've gotten the information, and I'll leave a message, and I don't hear from the people. Huh. I think they're a little surprised that, whoa, somebody called me.
Right. Well, you know what? That happens, too, on my side. When they call that number, I say, hello, this is Jeffrey with Saying a Paranormal, and I don't hear anything. And then they go, is this a real person? And I said, yes, it is. And then, because, they've been actually calling several numbers, and they get, voicemails, and they don't get no calls back. So they're very surprised to hear a real live person, and they're tripping. But yeah, give us a call, guys, and we'll try to assist you wherever you are now, since, we're making connections all over the place. We can direct you to the right people, so.
And it's like feeling isolated. I have to share real briefly. I'm from Milwaukee. I was raised in Milwaukee from California, but, and I felt isolated with some of the stuff I was experiencing too. I mean, I was seeing these things I called shadow people. No one had heard of such a thing. No one was discussing such a thing. And I'm like, there's no books on it. There's nothing. So I'm like, I guess I'm going to have to write a book about this. And, and I'm like, well, I sure do want to meet other people who have seen odd things. And I started a discussion group, a paranormal UFO discussion group at my local library. And I just opened the doors. I put an announcement. And, it's free to put, community announcements in the newspapers and tell them that I'm going to have these meetings at the library. And holy smokes, the media shows up. I'm like, well, hello, what's going on here? But it got the word out. I think one thing that's really interesting about the internet, it does connect a lot of people, but it takes away that human factor of, physical connection. Sometimes you gotta, not just use the Google bar and get off your butt and gather some people and talk things out, hug it out, whatever, cry it out, do whatever is needed. Because, you do need that camaraderie in the face of some of the stuff that's staring at us that have big black eyes or are big and black,
Right.
It's scary out there. So I'm glad, though, to hear that, Mary, that the book was helpful, and I'm happy to hear that the Hatman book you're taking up as well. So I hope that they're helpful, and, get back to me and tell me more, ask more questions. And,
Absolutely.
If myself or Jeffrey can be of help, we're all about it, because that's what this life is about, dang it.
Yeah.
Helping each other.
Yep, sure is. So, all right, Heidi, thank you very much, and we'll be here next week, so I hope you will be too.
Yippee! I hope you had a good Easter, by the way.
Absolutely. Had 2 weeks off, actually a whole week off, but I was itching to get back in here, trust me.
Oh, I bet. Well, it's good to be talking to you again, and I hope you have an awesome evening.
Thank you very much, Heidi. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, see ya. All right, thank you, Heidi. All right, let's go ahead and continue with the prep. Just pulled up my list. Now, I showed you my crossbow. As I said before, I think the first thing you need to do is you need to take care of your family, and you need to protect them. And that's what you need, something that's going to protect your family. It's going to be, people are going to want whatever you have. So I know you're not going to want to hear this, but you need to do whatever you need to do to protect your family. And if that's to kill somebody, then you need to do it. And you know what sucks is that because I'm a prepper and I'm protecting my family, I'm probably on a list, as a government watch list because of what I do right here. But the prepping thing, for some reason our government doesn't like that when you prep, guys. And I have different theories on that. And I think it's because you should not be able to fend for yourself. You need the government to help you. And I think that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to make it where you need to rely on them for everything. And I think that's total BS. All right, you guys, it's when the SHIT hits the fan, you need to pretty much take control and go from there. So what I suggest to do, like I said before, is if the SHIT hits the fan, and if you have a working vehicle, you need to pack up and you need to get out into the country, and you need to go stay with somebody in the middle of nowhere and get out of the town you live in, the city you live in, because I guarantee you right now that everything is going to get, people are going to break in and they're going to steal things and they're going to take whatever they can to survive. Simple as that. So, all right. So, weapons. We already talked about weapons. Let's continue on. After you have prepped, after you've taken care of yourself. Let's say your vehicle does work. All right. Let's say the solar flare only wiped out the grid, and let's say your vehicle is drivable and it turns on. What do you need to run your vehicle? You need gas. All right. When the grid goes down, don't think you're going to be able to get in your car. You're going to be able to drive down to the next Arco, Chevron, and Shell and put gas in your vehicles, because you won't be able to do that. Why? Because without electricity, you cannot pump gas. So if you have 1 gallon in your gas tank, then that's it. That's all you got. If you want to get out of town with a gallon of gas, then it ain't going to fly. All right. There's a lot of people who there's a lot of people who don't let their gas tanks go below a half a tank. But, there are a lot of us who can't afford to keep, gas like that in your gas tank. I mean, we only make so much money. And so what I suggest to do, guys, is I suggest to go get 5-gallon tanks, those red gas tanks, not the metal ones, but the plastic one. You can get a Big 5 or not Big 5, I'm sorry, Pep Boys or any type of automotive store. They have them. Go buy 4 of them. All right, fill them up with gasoline. That'll give you 20 gallons, and that usually your vehicle usually takes about 20, depending on the gas tank, between 15 and 20 gallons of gas to fill up your tank. All right, so if you fill up 4 of those red 5-gallon tanks, and you put them in your garage, put them in the back someplace, or go put them in a shed in the backyard, preferably away from the heat, but because the heat will evaporate the gas. So your garage, it's fine. Go put it somewhere in the garage and leave it there. All right. I think there is a limit on the length on how long you can actually have gasoline in a particular tank before it starts to go. I don't want to say bad, but the elements inside, it's not good to keep it stored away for a long period of time. You have to do some research on it. I don't remember what the length temp. So what I would suggest to do is, let's say, for example, you get 4 tanks of 5-gallon tanks, and you fill them up with the gas, and you put them away for 5 months. Then when it's time to fill up your car again, dump that gas in your gas tank and then take those empty and go fill them up with new gas, and keep doing that. Like, you might do it maybe 2 or 3 times a year. Sure, it's a little, out of your way, but you know what? Do it, because it could mean from allowing the gas in your gas tanks to go bad and then mess up your engine. I don't know how long. Again, I know there's a limit on it.
Just, you mentioned earlier that, sorry, keep interrupting you.
Yeah, no problem.
At that. Do the half tank thing, because you mentioned that it's expensive. It's actually the same price. I used to fill my tank all the way, and I have a truck, so it was like $60. But if you go halfway, you're still spending the 60, but you're doing it in half increments.
Oh, okay.
So it's the same amount of money.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Good point.
Because you're
Very
doing
good point.
twice as much, but it's the same amount of money.
Very good point. So if it costs $60 to fill up your half a tank, then spend $120, fill it up first.
No. I'm saying total for my gas tank, because it's $60.
Okay.
So instead of spending $60 once I'm empty,
right,
go down halfway, spend 30, you're back up.
There you go.
So do that, because you're going to end up doing that twice as much.
Right.
You're going to the gas twice as much. It's maybe an inconvenience, but in the long run, you're saving yourself.
Good point.
But it's the same price.
Good point. So what she's saying, again, is fill up your tank. If it costs $60, then do it. Then if it gets half empty or half full, however way you look at it, go fill it up. It's going to cost you $30. And then let it get to half and then do it again. So very good point. But do that, and as well, store gasoline in your garage as well. The more gasoline you have, it's better for you, depending on how far you want to get out, depending if your vehicle is running. And I'm going to say probably more likely your vehicle will run. A nuclear blast will not knock out the electrical in your vehicle, depending if it's in the middle of the United States. It's just going to knock out the grid. But again, if it knocks out the grid, you will not be able to go and get gas from any gas station, period. All right? So think about that. What people are going to be doing is they're going to be going out and they're going to be siphoning the gas out of the gas tanks. And then they're going to be trying to steal your gas.
Another thing with the cars, too, if you can't afford it, get an extra battery. Yes,
and that's going to be, and what I want to do is, as far as the car battery goes, is make a Faraday cage to put the car battery in. No, we'll talk about that. So, all right, so we got the gasoline, the weapons, the gasoline. Now, what do you need basically to survive? You need food. You need food and water. Okay. Let's talk about water, the main necessity of life. You have to have water. From what I understand, you need like a gallon to, I don't know how many gallons of water per day you should be drinking. I don't even drink a gallon of water per day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous. But that's what they say you need to survive, is like, I don't know, a gallon, 2 gallons of water a day. Wow. I barely drink maybe 2 glasses of water a day. Okay. So you need water, guys. You can live on water without food for a long period of time. But if you don't have water, then you will not last very long. Okay, so let's think about water. How to store water? The best way to store water is in glass. Now, obviously, you can go out and buy those cases of water that are in plastic bottles, but mind you, plastic is very bad for you. All right, water can only stay in plastic for so long, then the molecules of the plastic gets into the water, and guess what? You drink that water. If you do have the cases of plastic water bottles, the little liters or whatever they are, do not put them in the sun. All right, because the sun reacts to the plastic and it releases those molecules into the water, and basically you're drinking poison. Where you need to store them in a dry location, away from the sun, away from heat. Keep them nice and dry. All right, you guys, away from any type of heat. So inside, preferably. Not if your garage gets extremely hot in the summer, don't leave your water in there, or in a shed, or in the back patio. Keep them inside someplace. All right. Our dining room in our house is no longer a dining room. Okay, and I'm telling you that right now. So, and that's why we don't have people over, because we have no place. We have no place to host parties, right? So, water. This is what I would suggest to do, and it might be take a lot of work, but for those people who drink a lot of beer and drink beer bottles and Corona bottles, that is a good way to store water in those type of bottles. Preferably, you don't want to have like a lot of these little bottles laying around with a bunch of water in it. Well, then go buy glass. When you can, those people who order water and the trucks bring out the water and
those jugs.
Those jugs.
Oh, I love
okay,
those.
Those are plastic, all right, but they do sell glass ones, and I don't know how expensive they are.
Well, see, that's the thing. Glass. I was gonna say this earlier. Glass is expensive. I use plastic.
Right. Oh no.
So I mean, you figure the end of the world type of thing.
Right.
I don't care what I'm drinking out of.
Well, but what I'm saying is that you need to store water, though, because, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you right now, if the electricity goes out, your water will not run. I forgot to mention that. What do you mean, Jeff? My water faucet is not hooked up to electricity? You mean, no, but what happens is there are electrical pumps throughout the city where you live, throughout the town where you live, that are constantly pumping water through underground pipes that go to your house. That's how you get water, by electricity, by pumping these waters. The pipes underground are constantly moving with water because of the pump that are being run. And what runs those pumps? Electricity. Okay? Now, granted, there are backup generators for the city. I'm pretty sure the cities have backup generators that are located at these pump stations that require diesel gas, and they do have diesel gas probably in their tanks there, but it's not going to last forever because, like I said, without electricity at the gas stations, you won't be able to pump gas. So eventually that gas is going to run out, and when that happens, that generator is going to stop working, and that water will no longer pump through the pipes underneath the ground to your house. And one of these days, you're going to open up that faucet, and nothing's going to come out. So you gotta get water someplace. Start storing water, and glass is the best way to do it. So if you can't afford, again, to go out and buy these 5-gallon glass jugs, then if you like drinking wine, if you like drinking beer, if you go and buy the milk bottles that require glass, rinse them out really good and put water in them, and then cover them up. And you know what? I don't know what would be the best way to cover them up.
Black tarp.
Well, no, I mean cover up the tip.
Oh.
Okay, so if you have, like, for example, wine bottles that have screw-on caps.
This is going to sound weird, and y'all know I'm from college, but condoms.
Well, that's rubbery. And you know what? I don't know where you got that from. But okay, we know where Emerald's mind is at right now, folks.
No, I'm just thinking because I don't know.
Okay,
it doesn't let anything through it.
Well, that's true.
Right?
Not unless it's the defective one.
God, I don't want to know.
Oh my God. Okay, let's change the subject. Let's change the subject. All right, let's use the example foil paper. Right? We can
I don't even know what foil paper is.
The foil paper.
Oh,
that you pull
foil.
Out. Foil. Oh, okay, and not paper per se, but foil for cooking. Cut it in squares, and then put it over the top, and maybe put a rubber band around it, so that way nothing gets in. You follow me, guys? You could probably use Saran wrap as well, but you need to cover the top so that way dust and dirt and bugs don't get into that water and contaminate it. Okay, but make sure you wash out those bottles really good. Start saving your beer bottles and wash them out, and that'd be a good way. And keep the 6-pack, carton that it comes in, and put the bottles right back in there with water, and go and put them in the closet, guys. I mean, how I know it sounds stupid, but let me tell you, when you're
not
thirsty,
as stupid as me.
when you're thirsty, when you're thirsty, you're going to want to drink, and you're going to have good, clean water to drink from right there, guys. All right? So water is the main thing for life. Now, another thing you need to realize that when, let's say we finally use, let's say you go to pull up the tap in your sink and no water comes out. Right? There are 2 locations in your home right now that if the water would run out and you cannot retrieve water from your water faucet, there are 2 locations that you can go in your house to get clean water. And that is, okay, and one is going to sound gross, but I'm not talking about inside the toilet bowl per se. You guys all know that in the back, when you sit on the toilet, in the back of your back, that's where the water is. It's held there until you flush it. Then the water from that location goes into your toilet and washes away, your poop or your pee. So technically, that water that's in the tank behind your back is absolutely clean water. There is nothing wrong with that water. Right now, I could go in my home, lift up the top of that tank, put a cup in there, and get it and drink it. There's nothing wrong with that water.
They have straws that'll filter your water for you now. They have water bottles and straws, the life straws or whatever they're called.
I got something that I want to show. But no, you're right. That you can actually purchase these straws that you can go to a stream or you can go to a mud hole and just suck up the water and it filters that. Yep. And we're going to talk about that right now, but I want to inform people that they need to start prepping. But yeah. So water. When you finally realize you cannot retrieve water out of your faucets, do not go to the bathroom anymore. If you have to go to the bathroom, tell your kids to go out to the back, dig a hole, take a dump. Because as soon as you flush that water out of the tank into the toilet, it will not fill up anymore because there's no water. All right? So if you have 3 bathrooms and you have 3 toilet bowls, well, then you have, I think there's 3 or 4 gallons of water in each tank that you can literally drink out of to get you going for a couple of days.
Yeah.
All right?
Or because I have the Sparklets deliver the jugs we were talking about earlier to me. I always keep a surplus of 4. So they'll bring me the water, but I always have 4 of those giant things filled with water.
There you go. And that'll get you, for maybe a week.
No, that'll be more, dude. There's a lot of freaking water.
Okay, yeah. And if it's just for one person, like for you and your boyfriend, then yeah, you can survive off that for a while.
Yeah.
And so water is a necessity. Now, I mentioned there are 2 locations in your home that you can get water from. The next location would be the hot water heater that you have in your home. There is a lot of gallons of water in that sucker that you can retrieve water from. Now, so you won't, how would you do this?
Very carefully.
Well, once you turn on the hot water, like right now, you might go and click on the cold water and nothing's going to come out, but the hot water side, that's coming from the hot water heater. All right? So you need to be careful, but it's constantly pumping in water, therefore pumping out water. So the pressure, I don't think is going to be there. So when you put it into hot, you won't be getting hot water, I don't think, because there's not going to be any pressure. So if you all know where your hot water heater is, okay, there's always a faucet at the very bottom that if you open it, that water that's stored in that hot water heater will come out through that faucet. All right? You can always drink out of that water heater. It's clean water, guys. You can literally drink out of that water heater. That's perfectly clean water. All right? So to always remember, the tank behind your back, the tank that holds the water before you flush out of the toilet is drinkable, 100% drinkable. And so is the water in your hot water heater. All right? So what I would do, if you know the SHIT has hit the fan and you need to preserve all the water you can get, I would go to the hot water heater and I would turn off the the water faucet itself that's going to the pipes of your house, and just turn it off. So that way, none of that leaks into your pipes, and just by accident, it goes to the pipes and then comes out to your one of your kids that will accidentally leave the water on one of your sinks, and all that water is going to go out. Then you're done with as far as the water goes. So you got 2 locations: your hot water heater and the tank that holds your water for your restroom, for your toilet. Perfectly fine to drink out of that. Okay, so remember that. All right, so. I did mention the weapons. I mentioned the toilet, the water. I mentioned the knives. Now, Emerald was stating about filtration system. Now, let's say, for all those people, too, who have swimming pools, there is a lot of water in your swimming pool. Even if it tastes like chlorine, guys, it's still drinkable. Our animals go in there, drink. Birds stop by. They drink from our pool and leave poop around the edges, and that pisses me off. But you can drink out of your pool. So if for some reason you forget to do what I just told you to do, and the water is turned off, then I would suggest to start locating plastic bottles. I don't care what you have, and start filling your water from the pool. Because with no electricity, your pool water will eventually turn green and yucky and not drinkable anymore. So you need to get as much of the water out of that pool and start storing it someplace in your home. All right? What a lot of people do, what I've heard is let's say you need to store a large abundance of water. Well, every home has a bathtub. Okay, depending on how clean your bathtub is, I would put a cork in the drain and fill up that bathtub with water all the way to the top. You can use that to bathe with, and I'm not saying get into the bathtub itself, but you can, wash things. You can wash your body with that type of water. That's a lot of gallons of water in that. And I'm thinking probably 50 gallons of water that could fit in the bathtub. So what I would do is I would fill it up and just leave it there, and use that water to wash your body with. A wash towel. Get your wash towel, get it all wet.
Or even then, that's a lot of water you could be drinking. I know every time I go to the store, or if my other goes to the store, I tell him, I don't care where you're at. If they have it, buy a Cliff Bar and buy those shower wipes. Buy a pack of shower wipes. We have, I kid you not, we have over like 50 of those Cliff Bars. And I tell them every time. So you're talking Cliff Bars, you're talking the those little chocolate, the little like health bars.
Okay,
yeah.
What are they called?
They're Cliff Bars. They're called Cliff Bars. They're like little food bars.
There's another nutrition bars or stuff.
Yeah, whatever, like a breakfast bar.
Breakfast. Okay,
so
right.
If you go to the store, any store, whether you go gas up, go to Target, go get groceries, buy one little thing, and they're like $1 something.
Right.
Something along those lines.
Yeah.
Because you figure you're going out to the store almost every day. So twice a day sometimes. So that adds up too.
Yes,
and
it does.
It's not a lot of money.
No, you can live off of those.
Oh, that's why I told him. I was like, get Cliff Bars. Get a thing of water. Get shower wipes. Every time we go to Target, we get especially if they're on sale, we get like 3 or 4 of those things.
Yeah.
And we just stick them in the closet.
Shower wipes, you guys.
That way you're not wasting water.
Okay, there you go. Baby wipes. When we go camping, when we go Sasquatching, I go purchase the baby wipes unscented that you can use to shower yourself with. A couple of those, wipe your whole body, and you won't believe how refreshed it feels. Especially when you've been up at the mountains for 2 or 3, 4 days. That's what I use to wipe my body with. Because, oh my God. You perspire, you stink. Depending on the season, this is all going to happen. If it happens in the summer, oh my God. All right, no electricity, no air conditioning. It's going to be really bad. So yes, absolutely, go get baby wipes, shower wipes, however way they describe on the, I don't know how they actually have shower wipes. I guess, do they?
Yeah.
Where are they at?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
You get them at Target. It's like a body wipe.
Wow.
Yeah. How do you not know this?
I don't know. I get.
It just says LA.
And so yeah, there you go. No, I've never.
Protein bars.
Protein bars. There you go.
Thank
So
you.
I would suggest, like she said, definitely. And
because this doesn't have to be one giant shopping trip. Do this over time.
Exactly.
Do not waste your money. It's not a waste, but don't use all of your money in one go. Just do it as often as you guys can. And I mean, I'm not too worried. Jeff's the prepper. I'm just like basic. I'm whatever. I'll eat Cliff Bars for the rest of my life. I don't care.
Right.
But it's something.
Sure.
So, you don't need to get the glass. I do plastic. I don't care.
Right.
But it's something.
It's something. Exactly. So I'm telling you, there are several ways to do this. You can do it, like I said, the glass. You can still do the plastic regardless. You need to start prepping. All right. I'm telling you right now, you have to. All right. So now the water situation. If you have gas and if you have a vehicle and you are allowed to get out of the town, obviously you can't take everything with you.
No.
You can't, guys.
Unless you got a truck like me.
Oh, yep, or like me, then you can. But a lot of people have small cars. A lot of people just have cars in general. The only way you're going to be able to take stuff is in your trunk, depending on how many people you have inside. You still have to take your suitcases, your clothing. You're not going to have enough space depending on where you go. Now, if you live in California, we're screwed because we're in a drought right now. All right, so there's not going to be streams, there's not going to be lakes, there's not going to be rivers to go and get water from. Even if there's water in those streams and rivers and lakes, you can't go and drink directly from them, guys, because they have junk in them. All right, there's not, I don't want to say chemicals, but there is, things die in these waters. There are
fish crap. There's poop from animals that go in this thing, and if you go drink, you can get sick and die, literally. All right. So, depending on, again, if you have money or not, or how much money you have, they have different types of filtration systems that you can purchase, that you can take with you, and you can siphon water out of anything and drink from it. This is what I went and purchased several years ago. And again, I didn't go buy this yesterday. I didn't go all buy this last week or last month. I have been doing this for a long time because obviously I don't have the money to go and buy all this all at one time. That's ridiculous. Nobody does. Not unless you're a freaking millionaire. Well, then you better have a house filled with this stuff. And if you don't, then you're stupid. All right? I went and purchased the Lifesaver bottle 6,000 UF. All right? There is, if you go Google Lifesaver, it's Lifesaver, and there's the YouTube videos. This is going to blow your freaking mind. I guarantee you. There are several videos where they actually take this and they go to Africa, and they show this one video. They show this swimming pool in Africa that has larvae. It's green, mosquitoes. There's little bugs in them, and gross, right? Well, they get a pail, they get this water, and they put it into this mechanism, this filtration system that I have here, and they pump it right into a glass, and it's 100% pure. That's gross.
No, it was freaking, and you had little kids there, African American kids. They were tripping out. They were seeing this, and they're going, oh! But then they saw the water it came out of. Now the American guy, drank it first, and it's absolutely clean, 99.99%.
Okay, but there's larvae in it.
No, it doesn't matter. This thing filters out everything.
But even
Google
if they get
Google
squished with it, their little liquids go.
No.
Okay.
Google it. Lifesaver. This thing here is between $100 and $200.
Damn, that's why.
All right, this thing is and you can it depend on what it has. I forgot, like this particular one of its filters, you can. God, I wish I had this. I forgot to tell you guys. It's like 1,000 gallons of water or something like that. So I went out and purchased like 6 other filters. Once is done, and you can put another filter in there. But we're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of gallons. It showed somebody with this thing going to a gutter or standing water, a puddle, and they siphoned it, and they pumped it through the filtration system in this thing, and it came out pure, 99.99%, and it was just like you were drinking water from the filter of your refrigerator. That's how good it was. I swear, you guys, if you got the money, buy this, because you don't need to take all that water with you. All you need to do is take this, depending on where you go to hide or where you go, or from your swimming pool. Once your swimming pool gets all green, you can use this and drink out of all that water. That's how good this thing is. Lifesaver. I'm sorry. It's a bottle, 6,000 UF. I'm going to spell it out for you guys. LIFESAVER. Bottle, 6,000 UF. Okay? And again, if you live in the Midwest or wherever there's water, standing water, you can go any place and get water through this and drink it, and you will be fine. This is not the only filtration system that's out there. Like Emerald said, there are straws now that you can buy, and I don't know how much they are.
I don't know either. I thought they were relatively cheap.
They were cheap.
Yeah.
Now, yes.
There's different brands too, so I don't even remember.
So
any of the names.
and they're making them now very economically friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because they make these straws, like Emerald said, for hikers and people who go camping. And if you get lost, you can literally, get on your stomach and drink through this straw out of the lake and the river or wherever you are, and it will be pure, fresh drinking water. You do not want to drink water just out of a lake, because you will get sick. Once you get sick,
you're done.
You're done. All right? So, if you got the money, go buy a filtration system. This is out. You can get this at Amazon. You can Google it. It's out there. Again, Lifesaver bottle, 6,000 UF. I recommend this. All right? So there you go. I'm going to put this right here, so that way you see. I can't read it that far, but that's a must. All right, now.
You better hurry, Jeff. You got 20 minutes.
I got 20 minutes, and I'm not going to be able to finish, so we're going to continue on. We're going to continue on next week with part 2 of the food section. All right, because the food section is a must, and I'm going to tell you what to get and how long it will last. But right now, what I'm going to do now is we've covered the necessity of life, and that is water and protection. With those two, you can get by to move to a safer location. But obviously now you need, if you found a location to survive at, then obviously now you need food. But I'm going to talk about the food next week. Right now, like I said, I am a prepper, so I sort of I'm preparing for different type of disasters. Okay, when people say, what happens if there's a nuclear blast, depending on where you are. See, we live in Fresno, California, and the wind current comes from the northwest. Northwest of us is the Bay Area, San Francisco, Oakland. So if there was let's say a nuclear war, all right, the major cities are going to get hit, you guys. I mean, that's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They will. So you got Los Angeles, you got, Seattle, you got San Diego, you have the Bay Area. Those are all.
You think those would be hit, though, over like New York and Washington and stuff like that?
All at the same time. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you think
yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, what can also occur is just one nuclear bomb. All right. Now, I'm not saying that Russia's going to send off all their nuclear weapons like in War Games. You remember that movie, War Games? That's not, most likely that probably won't happen. But our military, our National Guard right now is doing drills for dirty bombs. What is a dirty bomb? A dirty bomb has to do with any type of chemical, radiation, a small nuclear blast. Now, once that gets up in the air, the wind is going to take it on the wind current. So depending on where you are or how close you are to a dirty bomb exploding, you got to protect your bodies. How do you do that? Obviously, you don't want to breathe all that stuff. You don't. So there are several ways you can protect your lungs from breathing the chemical, depending on if it's a poison. Let's say, for example, that we have, and again, this is not only for a nuclear weapon or drill or dirty bombs, but what happens if there is a sickness? Remember the swine flu. Remember the Ebola. All that can happen too. All right. So there are two things that you can get. The cheapest one, well, not really cheap, but is the respirators. Okay. Now, obviously, you can go to Home Depot, and Home Depot have all kinds of respirators there. But there is a certain one. They have the very cheap ones that painters put on. Actually, no, I take that back. These are the cheapy ones that the doctors use that don't have anything on them. They're just, a plain, simple little type thing that fits over your mouth. Those are the cheap ones. Those things really don't do you any good. Right? If you want to really protect, yourself from diseases, any type of chemical, dirty bomb like that, then this respirator, I'm going to give you a model number. You can buy them at Google. All right. They are the respirators, and each one types of different respirators have a code on them. And these codes tell you what they filter out. The one that I got was the N100 respirator. N as in Nancy, 100 respirator. These actually filter out, and let me actually took a snapshot of it. Let me read it to you really quick. Where is it at? Is that there? Nope, not there. Is it there? Yes, here it is. And I'm going to read it to you. Where'd it go? Filtering. What the heck? Sorry, guys. Hold it. I'm looking. No, I guess I didn't do it. Well, anyways, okay. When I pulled it up, I took a snapshot of the wrong one. Sorry, I apologize for that. But it filters out, like, for example, like breathing, like you said, like Ebola, swine flu, any diseases that are airborne. This will stop it, protect it. All right. But this is just for the mouth, or for the breathing. All right. Obviously, you don't want to get your eyes contaminated either. So this right now, just to be safe, I would get these respirators. All right. These right here, in a minor situation, would help the most. And that's the N100 respirators. Just Google respirators, and the code on it is N100. And those are, they're not cheap, but there's like 10 in a box, and it's about $45 for 10 of them. All right, but they last for a long time too. I don't know how many hours you can actually, breathe on. I think 8 hours per mask. Now, like I said, I have been doing this for a while. Now, I got this here for the minor stuff, but for a nuclear attack, and again, I'm trying to cover my behind. I went out and got gas masks. All right? Can you see it? I got gas masks. All right? I got 4 of them, one for each one of us. And it comes, and actually, where'd it go? There it is. Then you have to purchase, and I'm pretty sure they come with one. I just don't remember because this was a long time ago, but here's the filter itself. And you put the filter on here, and that's what you use to breathe with. Okay, this protects, obviously, your eyes and whatever you are breathing through this filter. Now, am I going overboard on this? Yes, I am. But I found these on the internet for like $20 a piece, and you can still get them for $20 a piece. That's pretty dang good for a rubber gas mask. Now the filters,
old Army surplus.
that's where I got these. Yes, absolutely, and they're still good. You know, they're taped up, and there's nothing wrong with them. You know, buy extra filters, and they're not much. They don't cost much at all either. You know, you get like a 10-pack for, I don't know, $25 or $20 or something like that. But am I going overboard? Yes, I am. But again, I didn't go buy all this stuff last week or yesterday or last month or last year. I've been doing this for a long time, because obviously it takes money and it takes time. So again, you can probably get away by just these type of respirators, but if you want to go all out, then you can go out and get the rubber gas mask with the filter on it. Okay? That's what I did. Now, am I still going overboard? Yes, I am. Now, because I'm trying to cover all angles, what happens if we have a terrorist attack with chemical warfare, sarin gas, or a nuclear bomb blows up and there's radiation falling? Well, I went and got bodysuits. Yeah, I know. I know. No, I did. I got the pants, and I got the coat. They're actually for protection of radiation. That's what I got. I got 4 sets, 1 for each. All right. Am I going overboard? Yeah, I sure am. But you know what? I'd rather be safe than sorry. That's all. Okay. So, am I going overboard still? Yes, I am. When Fukushima, Japan, went into meltdown, to this day, you guys, that radiation has now reached our shores. Actually, ABC and I don't know what other network finally said it has reached Seattle shoreboards. The radiation has now reached the beaches here in the United States. Okay. Now, can the radiation come over through the air from Japan? Probably not. But if a nuclear weapon or a dirty bomb exploded in the Bay Area, then Fresno, or we will probably get the wind current coming towards us carrying all that on there. Our bodies, we can absorb the radiation, and that's what kills us. So there are what you have, iodine pills, potassium iodine pills that you can get, that because your thyroid is where the radiation gets stored. And I went and bought a box of iodine pills. Now, these are actually pretty cheap. They're not expensive at all. So read up on iodine pills. I should say, I take that back. That's potassium iodine. And these are called nuke pills, family emergency kits. I went and got a box of these. Am I going overboard? Yeah, I sure am, guys. But at the time, again, I started doing this a long time ago. A long time ago. All right, so where are we at? Oh, shoot. We're just about there, aren't we? Holy mackerel. So hold on. Let me cue up the... I still have a lot more to show you guys. I mean, it's... I can still go on for another... next week, I will continue on. I still have talked to you about a Faraday cage. All right, the Faraday cage. Why don't you guys Google Faraday cage. Come on, Jeff, say it. Faraday cage. If we get hit by a nuclear weapon or a solar flare and it wipes out our electronics, whatever you have stored in a Faraday cage will survive. And I'm going to tell you what I have. I'm going to show you my Faraday cage that I have here and what I have inside the Faraday cage, because you're going to need a couple of items in there that's going to allow you, I don't want to say survive, but allow you to connect to news agencies, information. So somebody, Danny just sent me something. I can't see it right now. So So there you go. Again, I am not trying to scare you. I just want you guys to be prepared. That's all. All right. If you guys don't have water, you guys start storing water and gasoline and get some weapons. The stuff that I have here is probably not even needed at all. But if the grid goes down, which our government right now is moving back into Cheyenne Mountain, and the reason being is because they stated, and this is coming from them, that they will be safe, their electronics, communications will be safe if an EMP goes off above ground. That's telling me that something is up or something is coming this way. All right. Now, the Pentagon is spending millions and millions of dollars to get back into that mountain to set up more communications equipment. And they're not doing it just because they found some extra money laying around at the Pentagon and decided, hey, let's go and start up and get back in the Cheyenne Mountain and put some communications back in there, back like when the Cold War was happening, because we didn't know if we were going to get nuked or not. And that's one of the reasons why they moved out, because at that point in time, our relations with Russia became better. But now Russia is not happy with us, and they're even stating, and a scientist from Russia, Soviet Union, actually told Putin, if you really want to get back at America, drop a nuclear weapon on Yellowstone National Park, because that will activate the volcano, the mother volcano there, and it will destroy 3/4 of the United States just by activating that volcano. And they said if you drop a nuclear weapon on it, that would do it. And I'm going, what? Now that is legit. That actually was said by a scientist.
Oh, then that'd be nothing we could do at that point.
Well, no. If you go and look up, and there's actually a map, several maps, where if for some reason to this day if the volcano in Yellowstone actually went off, it shows you the area of the disaster. It would destruct the destruction, how far it would go out. Okay, here in Fresno we're okay. Okay, that we're lucky, but further east of Yellowstone, because of the wind current, it's going to take up all the ash, and all of the smoke is going to go towards that way, and it will continue to go that way. Yellowstone could pretty much wipe out America. It's simple as that, guys. So okay. Well, we got 20 seconds left, guys. That's it for us here at Paranormal Central. For all those who, if this is your first time, I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you can come back next week, because we're going to finish off on the prepping, and we're still going to have some more stuff to talk about, more Bigfoot stuff, and all that kind of stuff. All right, guys, that's it. My name is Jeffrey Gonzalez, and next week we'll have Alan Thomas right here next to me, and also Emerald. Thank you for showing up, and we'll see Emerald next week. You guys have a good day. Good night. Take care. Adios. Bye.
You have been listening to Paranormal Central with Jeffrey Gonzalez and Alan Thomas, broadcasting worldwide at paranormalcentral.net and on artbell.com. Stay tuned for next time. Remember to keep your eyes to the skies, and we hope you witness something you cannot explain.
Looking for you, you're looking for me. We have to decide what it will be. Can it be true? Can I believe the unexplained? Look into the sky, you realize.
Right on. All right.
It looks like an angry old man with a big nose.
Yeah. Let's see if there's another one. Yeah. Okay. Number 7. Oh, I think I know what this is.
What is it?
The can?
Yep.
Go for it.
This one came from chaoticfeed.com, and also Keith Rowland sent it to me, our very own Keith Rowland.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always watching out for us, too. So this is a group of Siberian entrepreneurs. They're hoping their new product will give Viagra a run for its money. And what are they selling? It's a can of fresh air. And Vladimir Mikota says that it's air from the Azuzskaya cave and the surrounding areas, and it's crystal clear, full of goodness, and has a healthy effect. It can apparently help strengthen immunity and positively impact the mental state. But the most important thing that they're claiming is that it works wonders for people who want to perform better in bed.
Okay.
So,
Like sleep-wise?
No.
sleep-wise, I think,
Yeah, right. That's it. Yeah. Can you order this on Amazon?
I think so. It said the largest order was from someone by Gonzalez in California.
Shut up. You suck. I told you not to say. I told you not to say anything, dude. You know what? We should order a couple of these and give them away.
No.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
They are for sale for 200 rubles, which is $3 here.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna order some.
I want one.
Yeah. We'll order some.
It doesn't have a thing to order them. I couldn't find a place to actually order them.
Oh, that sucks.
It's probably sold out by now.
Yeah. That's
You
fun.
open them and it smells
packed
like
with
fresh
ions and
bathroom.
healthy minerals and vitamin particulates that help Bigfoot grow to his size.
Okay. Just like the pet rock.
It sounds scary.
Yeah.
I had a pet rock, sir.
Really? Did you know the founder of that just died?
Aww.
He was sleeping and a rock fell and hit his head.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, he died.
What happens when you mess with Mother Nature?
Mother Nature?
Mother Nature.
There you go.
Gives you a drought.
Right on. So, hey, let's. I know this is the last one, but let's talk about your buddy who called us a couple days ago. Actually,
that was weird.
Last week, right?
Yeah. He had told me before, and I didn't know what he was talking about. So I said, okay, well, if anything else happens, he didn't have any proof or anything. So
right.
I said, okay, if anything else happens, just keep us updated. And he came back again last week with more.
Okay,
more
so
info.
and
he lives out in the Sanger area.
Yeah, so let's tell everybody what happened here, and for all those who, if this is your first time, we talk about everything here. Obviously, we're talking about Bigfoot stuff. We get calls all over the place, and we have a couple of people right now sitting on the sofa. They're probably going to blow Sam away, but we've got several reports of a Bigfoot down here near Avocado Lake, and one on the outskirts of Sanger, in the orange fields. Basically, that's where they're coming down and they're munching down and they're going back up. Now, this guy lives right at.
He moved into the house at the end of the last year.
Okay, and this is right on Indianola and Jensen Avenue.
Yeah, we're in that area.
We're in that area.
Yeah. It's a 2-story house.
Right,
He said after he and his wife had moved in there with their family,
right,
they were sitting out on their upstairs deck and looking over the orchard that was behind them, and they heard grunting sounds and something being attacked, and they said that it sounded kind of like a pig being slaughtered out there.
Right.
And
now what's throwing me off is the chanting they also heard. Now I don't know if maybe that was music coming from a radio of some type, or actually people out there.
What he was thinking, it was that they were like a Satan worshiping group out there,
right,
slaughtering and sacrificing things and
right.
stuff. And then we said, well, what kind of orchard's behind your house? And he said, well, this was back in September, November, around there, and there's an orange grove back there. And I said, what?
And that right away tells you.
You've had 3 reported sightings already in the same area, and all had orange groves.
And also the canal that's right there at Indianola and Jensen, it goes all the way up, and it actually passes through California and Academy Avenue, where we had the other sighting in that orange grove. And then it goes all the way up, and I think it intersects at Zedekar and Shields, where we had the other sighting.
That's the way we think that they move around through the canals.
They're going through the canals, right? That's how they're moving. So.
And you also had a report of one carrying a pig.
And that one's over there at Avocado Lake, right?
Yeah. And he says that he sounded like a pig being slaughtered.
Right.
And his kids were out there too in the backyard one time, and they heard the chanting or the singing or something coming from the orchard.
See, that chanting just throwing me for a loop, though. I'm gonna have to go out there.
I asked him if it kind of sounded like a samurai chatter type of thing, because that's what you hear a lot. Maybe he was mistaking that for something, or
I don't know.
He hasn't gone out there to look for footprints or anything like that.
I think he's probably too scared.
Not to let his kids go play out there.
No, hell no. So, right on. Okay. All right, Danny, thank you, man. Anything else?
All right. Actually, David Paulides posted today, this morning.
Okay.
And he was talking about the Les Stroud Survivor Man episode that just aired on Friday. I don't know if you had a chance to see that.
I'm not sure.
About the Hoopa Reservation.
No, I missed that one.
He's been getting hundreds of emails asking if he has been contacted by Les Stroud, and he said he was waiting for the first episode to air before he would say anything.
Right.
And since that aired on Friday, he said that he was contacted a year ago by Les Stroud, and Les let him know that he had read both of his books about Bigfoot, and he considered him to be pretty credible. He wanted to arrange a meeting with him. So they did meet in Denver, and he wanted to use him on 2 episodes. The Hoopa one that just aired, and also a Great Smoky Mountain one that's coming up.
Right.
And he offered him screen time, too, to be on there. He'd be the one hunting with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he declined, but he said that he knew 2 experts from both of those areas that he would offer up instead. So that one of those guys was already on, and the other one's coming up in a later episode.
Right.
But he said that he was on location with them for the weeks of.
Welcome to Paranormal Central, broadcasting live from Central California with your hosts Jeffrey Gonzalez and Alan Thomas. Broadcasting video worldwide at ParanormalCentral.net and broadcasting audio on the Dark Matter Network at ArtBell.com. Are you ready to witness something you cannot explain?
Looking for you, you're looking for me. We have to decide what it will be. Can it be true? Can I believe the unexplained? Look into the sky, you realize you're not alone. Open your eyes, you can find the trails that control.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Gonzalez. I am the host of Paranormal Central. Welcome, wherever you may be, broadcasting live from the bottom left-hand corner of the Nevada Triangle in a city called Fresno. Again, my name is Jeffrey Gonzalez. I am your host for the show, and our co-host obviously is not here today, and we have a special guest, and we'll be talking to him in a little bit. Let's give everybody if this is your first time, welcome. I've been doing this now going on 8 years, broadcasting on this show, and been investigating the paranormal for 13 years. I am the founder of a group called the Sanger Paranormal Society, and got a lot of great stuff that we found, and I decided that one day I'd show it to you guys, and this is the avenue that we're going to do it here. So we are broadcasting live HD video on live stream right now. If you don't want to watch us, you can always go to the Dark Matter Network at artbell.com and listen to us there via audio. We are sending them a Skype audio, which is very killer audio. So what a lot of people do is either they turn down the volume on live stream and listen to us on the artbell.com website, and that way you can get the best of both worlds. We are going to be showing some photographs tonight. We have Danny Valdrama, a Squatch reporter, and what we do is we show you pictures here, and you can also watch or see the pictures at artbell.com on the homepage, and then we can go ahead and talk about them. You guys can look at the pictures there. So we're going to go ahead and get a hold of Danny and get right into the Squatch report. We have sitting here Al Al is from Ohio. What the heck is Al from Ohio doing in California? Well, he is sort of kind of like married to a cousin of mine. No, I take that back. His son is married to a cousin of mine. And so let's go ahead and tell everybody really quick before we get Danny on. Introduce yourself.
All right, I'm Al Luna, and actually I'm from the Toledo, Ohio area. And my wife and I are founders of a paranormal group in that area.
Well, look at that. Isn't that a coincidence?
Yes, indeed. I came out to visit my kids and somehow fell into this great situation.
Right on.
Glad to meet you, Jim.
Right on, Al. Same here. During our Easter festivities last week, they said you would be in town, and I said, well, you know what? Bring them on down. It's nice to tell people about other paranormal groups around the United States because they listen to us worldwide, and we have fans all over the place. And I get called to my 24-hour hotline from everywhere, from East Coast, just everywhere. And I try to help them as much as I can over the phone. But if I know other paranormal groups on the East Coast or in the Midwest or whatever, I can just turn them on to you guys. You know?
That'd be great.
And that's what the whole idea is, getting you in here so we can talk about it. So let's go ahead and get Danny and talk about some Bigfoot stuff. Danny, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So, what do you mean? Yeah, I'm here. Okay, all right.
Alan didn't make it back?
No, I don't think he wasn't going to make it back. For all those who don't know, Alan is at a baseball game. His granddaughter, I believe, is leaving out of state tomorrow, and this is probably going to be the last time they see each other for a long time, I think. So she wants some tickets to the Grizzly game, and that's where they are right now. So he will be back with us next week, and we'll have Alan in the studio. So today,
Emerald made it back.
Emerald is here. Emerald, say hi.
Yeah, hi,
I forgot,
guys.
Emerald.
Yeah,
Oh my
you just
God.
leave me in the freaking corner. That's fine. I see how it is, Jeff. You don't pay me anyway.
Month off.
Yeah, you jealous, Danny? I got a month off.
Mine's coming up.
What? Wait a minute. You just had vacation. What are you talking about? Oh my gosh. So, okay. All right. Emerald, welcome back. And a lot of people have been asking for you. I'm serious. So you better get your ASS in here now from now on every weekend.
All
right.
No days off.
There was nobody to fight with.
No kidding. So,
Oh, that's what they're missing.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, they gotta let me have it sometime. So, all right. So we got Danny on the line here. We're gonna go ahead and talk some Bigfoot. Danny, for those who don't know, Danny is our Squatch reporter. He is into the big hairy man, and I think he basically knows what is going on around the world with reports and latest information. So he sent me over some photographs. If you are at the Dark Matter Network at artbell.com, you can go to their homepage and they'll be labeled Paranormal Central and the Squatch report for today's date. So let's go ahead and head over to the photographs that he sent me. And we're going to go ahead and put up Mr. Harry and the Hendersons, right?
Yeah.
I know him anyway.
I had to really stay on my toes this week because, last week because of April Fools. So there's a lot of stories out there that weren't true.
Ah, right.
But
And
this one was actually true. Shooting, and he was assisting with getting everything organized for them to be out there.
Right.
And he says if you look closely in one of the scenes, you
wearing the hat.
You can see Les Stroud wearing the NABS hat
Right.
that he gave him, the North American Bigfoot Search hat. So
Right on.
there's also there's a picture of a drawing of a Bigfoot reaching his hand in, as Les was telling one of the stories, there's a picture of a Bigfoot reaching his hand into a bathroom to try to grab a kid. And he said that's from his book.
Well, that looks like. Matter of fact, that's I saw just recently, a couple days ago, while I was going through my video collection. I saw I popped in the Legend of Boggy Creek.
Yeah,
and
the same thing happens in that one.
Same thing happens in that one. So
My kids love that scene.
Really? So it's a great scene. All right, Danny. Thank you, dude. We'll see you now. You said you're going on vacation again in a month.
No, in June, first week in June.
Okay.
But I should be able to do the show.
Where are you going?
You don't have to worry about it. No, it's my kid's graduation, so I'm just taking the week off.
Oh, a week off.
Get ready.
Okay. All right. Right on. Okay. All right, Danny. Thanks, man.
All right.
See ya.
See you guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. All right. That was Danny Veldrum, our Squatch reporter for today. All right. Let's get into ghost stuff. We got Al here. Al.
Check live stream real quick.
Oh, come on. No, we're good.
Oh, okay.
Why?
Cheryl says it's down.
No. It looks good to me. How can it be down? I didn't even.
Dude, not to interrupt, but Nathan just sent me a message about the chants that you guys reported up there. He said he was up by the lower end of the dam, and he was hearing that going on. So he actually went a little bit closer, and there was like a group of Hmong people with guns, like in a circle, doing some weird.
Well, you know what? The chanting on this side, though, I don't think they'd be chanting in orange fields, though. That's what, why I'm tripping out. That doesn't make any sense over here. Maybe up there, yeah. Interesting. Are we down, though?
No, she says it's back up.
Okay, back up. That's weird, though. All right, Elle. All right, well, okay, explain to everybody who you are and where you're from and what you do. Go for it.
Okay. Well, I live in Perrysburg, Ohio, and it's just outside of Toledo. My wife and I actually belonged to a paranormal team for 3 years, a little over 3 years, and we weren't satisfied with the way things were going because, like with a lot of paranormal groups, what their goal was to go in and investigate and see if they could find evidence, see if they could see something, and then they go back and do the reveal and walk away.
Ghost hunters?
Yeah, it's like, okay, you want to have your own experience, but then you leave the people hanging.
Right.
We can't do that.
Right.
So my wife and I decided, hey, it's time to do something for the people. And actually, in the meantime, I had been managing a store in the Toledo area and got to know a priest. And he was actually from up near Detroit. But the cool thing is he mentioned to me, he said, look, if you guys ever need anyone for an exorcism,
wow,
here's my card.
That's so cool.
I said, all right, this will work.
See, now, can a priest just do it on his own? Doesn't he have to get permission?
Well, this is an interesting thing, and I can't reveal a whole lot of information about him because they don't want to really be known.
Sure, they don't want to be associated with.
But the way he described it to me is they're kind of the red-headed stepchild to the Vatican. They are the old true Roman Catholic Church. Okay, so what they're doing is the old traditional way. They're not doing like the new Catholic Church that doesn't want to have anything to do with exorcism or demons or anything else. So what we did is we went ahead, and a year ago this last January we started our own team. Okay. Shortly after we started our team, and this was so unique how everything unfolded, you've heard of the show The Dead Files.
Yeah.
They came to Toledo, and they investigated a house in East Toledo. Just so happens that me and a couple guys left work one day, went to lunch, and I have a habit of just handing my card out, when I see people. And this girl rang us up, and I handed her my card. She took a look at it. She looked up at me kind of strange. She said, "Is this for real?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "They just filmed an episode of The Dead Files in our house in East Toledo, and we're told that we have 3 demon entities in the house. Can you help us?" I said, "I believe we can." So we met with the family. We found out what was going on. We started to put our game plan together. And we decided that we did not even want to just go into the house, do an investigation, find evidence for ourselves, because the evidence was already there. Yeah. So I contacted the priest. We went through, the setup of getting everyone together at the same time. We got everyone to the house. And actually, if you don't mind, I can play this right here.
Does it have an earphone?
That's all right. I can just
you
play
put
it right
there?
into the mic.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
When these priests do their exorcisms, of course, they have somewhat of a script, and he handed the English version of the script to everyone, but it's done in Latin.
Yeah.
Okay. And I asked him afterwards, I said, well, what is the meaning behind the Latin? And the way it's explained to us is, number one, Latin is one of the oldest known languages that still exists. And Latin is a pure language. Every word in Latin has one meaning, not like in the English language where there and other words have multiple meanings.
Okay.
He said when he says something, it has the one meaning. The devil knows what he's saying. He says if he's telling him get the hell out, it's time to get the hell out. Okay?
Okay.
And this is the blessing of the house. Asparagus me Domini, sopa pendaber, lavabis me et supernivum de lababer misere me Deus, secundum animum misericordium tuam, gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto, sicut erat in principio, et nunc et semper et in saecula saeculorum. Amen. Asparagus me Domini, sopa mendaber, lavabis me et supernivum de lababer, adjutorium nostrum in nomine Domini, qui fecit caelum et terram, Domine exaudi orationem meam acclamor meus activitia.
Okay. Of course, I don't want to play the whole thing because this goes on for, between 10 and 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
We read along, and actually during this first exorcism, we had a real interesting situation happen because we made sure that everyone that was there had something that had been blessed to protect them. But the owner of the house still started getting attacked. She started feeling sharp pains in her lower back. So I had her sit down, and after she sat down, I mentioned to her real lightly, grab hold of that cross, tell it to go away. After a matter of moments, I saw relief start to come to her. It was shortly after I saw the relief come to her, and I started having the hair stand up on the back of my neck, and actually had extreme tingling going on. And it started roaming up into the back of my head. Then it started down back behind my shoulder blades. So I reached down inside my shirt, grabbed my cross, pulled it out, and in my mind started saying, stay away. I'm not your vessel. You're not welcome here. I'm not taking you home. Just leave it alone.
Right.
And in a short time, I started feeling more normal again. And actually my body temperature had even gone up while this was going on. That temperature came back down, everything got back to normal. And it was just a short time right after that he finished. Now, months went by in that house with nothing going on. Everything was fine. And one unique thing that happened is the mother and her friend had moved to another house in North Toledo. The daughter was still living in the East Toledo house. I get a call from the mother, and she says, I've been scratched in the North Toledo house. So now we know that this thing traveled with them. Mm-hmm. So I took this recording, and I put it on my loudspeaker, and I went around and I played it through the house, and I blessed the house. No problem since. So, when you go after them with, what they know they don't want to hear.
Right. Now, religion, as far as, how were you brought up?
Okay. I was brought up, actually my parents were not very religious. We were interacting with the Lutheran denomination. I was baptized Lutheran. My sister would take me to church here and there as I was younger, and then my uncle, when I was a teenager, started taking all of us kids to a Baptist church. And of course, Baptists do not believe in, ghosts or demons or anything else. As time went on, I had kind of separated from the church, but always held my belief myself.
Sure.
Had a great experience myself personally in about 81. This was in an abandoned building that a friend of mine and myself were gutting for the gentleman that owned it so that he could renovate it and start a new business. Had some good events there. And then when I met my wife, my current wife, and, we started watching some of the shows on TV. And one day I just kind of looked over at her and I said, what would you think about doing something like this? She said, well, I don't really believe in it that much, but if you want to, let's give it a try.
Okay.
So we started.
You have to start someplace, right?
That's right.
I mean,
that's right.
So, we talk about that stuff here a lot. We're a paranormal group. We investigate everything. My co-host Alan Thomas, he is really into the religion part of what we do, the Bible and all that. Yeah. And we have gone out in several homes, and I've also talked about it here that I hate it when these groups go in, like especially ghost hunters, taps. All right, that's all they do. They'll go in and say, "Yes, yeah, you're haunted. You're haunted. See ya. We got our episode for our TV show," and then they leave them hanging, right? And that's BS, man. Right. That is BS. So, we found that by saying certain things, and Alan kind of found out how to do it without a priest, just by saying, the Jesus Christ, and you have to be the owner. I've actually went before we started really doing this really heavy. I've gotten candles blessed, holy water, gallons of holy water, rosaries, all that, because I was brought up Catholic. And we've actually been in several homes and removed whatever's been there. Matter of fact, we had an incident, and I'm just going to really quick, where the house had an evil presence in it, and it was attached to his son. And his son was like 17 or 18 years old. Unfortunately, the demon that was attached to the son didn't want to leave, and when Alan said some words to whatever was there to leave, the son got up and walked out, and he never came back home again. He basically moved out. But what's funny, not funny, but the father of the house called Alan and said, the day after you did this, the house smelled like rose. Really? Okay, so I got the picture up with Mr. Harry on, so go for it, dude.
All right, this is a Bigfoot made Rolling Stone magazine, and that's where this story is from. It's from March 20th. There's a group out there called Faith No More, and there's a keyboardist, Roddy Bottom, and he wrote an opera, and it's a Sasquatch love story. It's only a one-act opera, and it was previewed in Brooklyn, and it was last week. It was for 2 days. It's called Sasquatch the Opera, and it tells the story of how a daughter of a family who offers Bigfoot tours in their town runs away with a real Bigfoot.
Okay.
Part folklore, part love story, and the opera follows the demise of the family and the taboo love affair that blossoms in its aftermath. And Bottom says it's not a traditional opera. It's more like a little operetta. And he moved from L.A. to New York specifically to get into the opera. So
that's interesting.
It's only a 3-scene opera, but he's going to elaborate on it and build it into a bigger production. This is just a starting point, it's launching point. So.
Okay.
Pretty weird.
Yeah, very weird. We might have to get the keyboardist on to talk about that. It's probably going to be over by the time, but hey, I'd like to talk to him.
They asked him why Bigfoot, and he says it's his favorite character.
Oh, there you go.
He's a gentle giant, misunderstood monster. He turns out to be very sensitive and highly intelligent.
Bull crap on the sensitive.
Yeah.
More like, yeah, exactly. We'll take him up with us one of these days, and we'll teach him. All right, so right on.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was no reviews. It was on April 1st and 2nd. I couldn't find any reviews on it to see how it went, but it was in Brooklyn. So, and also his band, Faith No More, is releasing its first album in 18 years.
Wow.
It's coming out May 19th, and then they're going to start a tour.
Sweet. Well, I remember them in the 90s.
I recognize the name.
I
couldn't tell you what they sing.
Oh, God. I could start humming it to you right now, but I don't think my fans want to do that because they'll leave. No, yeah. All right. What's next?
All right. The next one is the binoculars.
Binoculars.
Yeah.
See, I didn't get that up here. You didn't send me that one.
Yeah.
No, sorry, bud. It goes from Harry to big dude, guy, a white dude.
Yeah. That's the keyboard player.
Oh.
And then the next picture should be binoculars.
See, no, it goes straight. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. You're right.
Killing us.
Come on.
There you go. Okay, go for it.
This was one of those April Fool's jokes. It's from Vortex Optics from their website. And it's only this one picture. It's they're advertising their new Bigfoot binos for 2015. And you can see the hairy grips there, fur on them. And when you look through them, it has hash marks so you can tell the size and the width of what you're looking at. And it adjusts. So when you adjust the binoculars, no matter what depth you're looking at.
How did I miss this one?
The sizes. See that?
Yeah. How did I miss it though? I didn't see this at all. Wow. Okay.
There was just so much stuff out there this past couple of weeks.
It was funny. Now, were they selling this, or it was just a joke?
It's just a hoax.
Right.
It's an April Fool's joke.
I was going to say,
I just looked for them, and it's not part of their.
That looks pretty real, yeah.
Do you have to wash those often to make sure no smell comes through? I mean,
I did ask their website if the fur sheds, because you can get your hands full of fur when you take them off of there.
Okay, that's funny.
And I think they're onto something there, though. It's a good idea.
You know what?
Maybe they might actually make these.
You know what? The height, and you know, military probably already has that, but you know, we're talking a lot of money. So, you know what would work also too is the golfers use for like measuring distance.
The distance finders.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I got to get one of those.
I told them on their website that they needed to add a camera or video and maybe a thermal imager connection on there too. So these would be perfect.
Yeah. Without the fur.
maybe their wheels are spinning now.
There you go.
There's enough people on there commenting that hey, I'd buy a pair. So maybe they'll actually do it.
That's GoFundMe.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about that right now. So okay. All right, next one.
The next one is the crazy looking lamb with the human face.
Now, so I guess this is real then.
Yeah, I thought it was an April Fool's joke. I did some research on it, and I found out that the video came out on March 29th of 2015, and then the article was written the next day on March 30th. So this wasn't for April Fools.
Okay, so it was real then.
This was an actual thing that happened in Russia. It's from the Daily Mail and from YouTube. The lamb was born with the human features and eyes, nose, and mouth. They were all human, and the ears were the only thing that looked like a sheep. It made a number of grunting sounds when it came out, and the mom came up and nuzzled next to it. And the farmer had been waiting all week for his prize ewe to give birth, and when he came out, he was in for a big shock. He said it had been a slow winter, and he was ready to sell the lambs at market, but he couldn't sell them once he saw them. So he said the same thing happened in Argentina. And it was last year. The same thing happened. A goat gave birth to a calf that had a human's head. And they talked to a local vet, and he says that this is just a deformity caused by excess vitamin A in the mother's diet. So it's like a vitamin A overdose.
Wow.
Or was this close to Chernobyl?
I know.
I have no idea.
Exactly. Radiation, and they're not going to say it. But
no. Both families from Argentina and from Russia were subjected to abuse and horrifying accusations, and by the superstitious locals. But he actually did receive a high price offer from a circus to buy the animal.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's 10 times what the normal going rate is for one of these. And he says that she's a beauty, so she won't be going to anybody's dinner table. So I think he is going to sell it to the circus, where they're going to put it on display.
Yeah, I mean that poor thing, but that would probably be the best. I mean, I wonder how much he's getting too. I mean, if it's 10 times.
10 times, I don't know.
Whatever that is.
Like 35,000, 50,000.
I don't know, depending. Yeah. So.